It's February 14th, 2017. We are here in beautiful Ayer Town Hall, 1 Main Street in Ayer, Massachusetts, and this is the Ayer Town Conservation Commission. Let's start by confirming our agenda. I see we have some hashes and slashes on their certificate of compliance for Kinnamora and Ito, and also for a discussion of the farmland inventory project.
Yeah, from the land trust that was going to come in.
She couldn't make it?
Yeah, the rescheduling, with the snowstorm was problematic. And our friend for 100-0399, he will be in at 8:30.
Okay. Mark Anderson.
And Steve Sears will be representing him. He's doing a presentation.
0399.
The last
The one right
of
before
the
8 p.m.
meetings.
discussions. It's written to the right.
Oh.
He's going to be in late. And then I made a typo I said we'll be talking about the Safosky land, and it's the Slarsky land. So I crossed that out. And, yeah, so snowstorms, edits, changes.
Sorry. Don't hit. Turns out there's only so much food in the house. So, agenda good as marked?
Yes.
Okay, I would accept a motion to accept the agenda as marked.
I second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. As we should note that Mr. Tata is out this evening, so we won't be expecting him. Let's leave some of these others until later. Why don't we go to the NOI for the Ayer Department of Public Works, Balch Pond Dyke?
We hashed it out. I deleted all of the appropriate things that took a page and a half off of it. They're not here. They didn't complain about it, and we're good to go.
So you guys work together. They're signed off. They're
Yeah.
happy as a.
I don't know if Mark Wetzel's actually seen it because he was away and he had like 400 emails to catch up on.
As long as the town engineer saw it.
Right, but Dan's on. So he and I were working through it. And Dan is working on 5 COCs to request that I have found in my review, 2 of which, just ask now, the order was never recorded. And my impression and my assumption at this point is that you guys are okay with not recording the order as long as the COC is recorded.
Actually, believe it or not, I think that's a Judith Schultz question.
Fair enough.
Schmitz.
What?
Schmitz.
Schmitz? Schmutz?
Schmitz.
Schmutz.
Schmitz.
Schmitz?
You're right. Schmitz.
Schmitz.
Yeah, that's...
You guys really should have come to the restaurant. Only because I would just like her opinion. If she says that no, they need to record it and record the decision, then if that's the right thing to do, we can use that as a background for others. You were lucky enough not to be here for the beginning of the 2-year saga of somebody didn't record a decision.
Oh yeah, but I got the message legally. The moral of the story is that just because it wasn't recorded doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You still have to abide by it.
I would agree to the abiding by it part, but I would also agree that the not recorded was a gigantic problem.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, created the problem.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
So the 5 COCs not recorded, what's the span of years for the 5 of them?
The earliest one at this point that I found is like 305 or 307, and then
That's got to be late 90s?
no,
Earlier?
early
Later?
later. There's like I think the earliest one I found was the Grove Pond well number 3.
Oh, that was us.
Yeah.
You and I, anyway.
The old times.
But I'm only down to like 301, so
Yeah,
I've got plenty of opportunity to find more.
Well, with that in mind, why don't we start with this
So we did already vote to approve an issue.
We did,
Yes.
we did, and so at this point, we're just signing off to close out. So
I believe we signed also. Didn't we?
No.
No,
we wouldn't have,
because they weren't.
because they
Oh,
weren't
yeah,
complete,
we
right?
Right.
We'll prepare for signing. Got it.
Okay, so I would accept a motion to issue the order of conditions as has been marked up and approved by the applicant.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And with that in mind, I would accept a motion to close the public hearing for DEP file number 100-0396.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Excellent.
Well, you know, on these, you should probably move George's name above mine since he's vice chair.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I'm a lowly.
Yes, but you take notes.
So
With
does
that in
that mean I
mind-
need to change the website too? Because on the Concom website, he doesn't have a title.
He is vice chair.
Oh, gracious.
It's just a chair and a clerk. There's nothing listed.
Well,
We can change that. Would you like to make a motion for me to officially promote him?
I
on
would
the website?
accept a motion to relate George's position to everybody with regard to his vice chairiness.
yeah. Well, I don't believe it needs a motion.
Well, I know, but-
it's already been. Would you like to make
There's
that motion?
no doubt.
So moved.
So moved.
Mr. Bacon
Are you
has been
seconded?
officially
I second
elevated.
Excellent. All in
Yes.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions?
George.
Can I vote no?
You can vote no, but I don't think it'll
You
work.
lose the
Will
vote.
pass.
You look very modest.
We have closed our hearing for 100-0396. Why don't we open our public hearing? Public hearing for the RDA continuation for Riley Jane Farm. So, as I recall, the last was the change on the plans, the flag.
You want to take this?
Oh, yes, I'll take this. Sure.
Actually, wait, am I thinking of?
No, I think you're.
No.
I'm thinking of the other one, 0 Washington Street.
This is the substitute, the swapping of applicant game.
My gracious.
Yeah, big games. This is the one with the barn door closed, but we saw a horse walking around.
All right, but here, go over there so the TV can see it.
Oh, never mind.
Come on.
We had a big discussion about this. It turns out that folks can't see stuff.
Understand.
We need to actually figure out a
What are
way
you
to
gonna
fix
do
that.
when Todd is actually?
Well, we'll
We're gonna put it in the
Oof.
regulations. You have to bring a flash drive, so you use that.
we'll throw dice. We'll throw dice on where you stand.
Sweet. So to answer your question about the missing flag later on, that was done electronically in Brian has planned, so that should be also set up there. He's still missing the electric fee.
Missing what?
The fee.
The monies?
The monies.
Yes.
Well,
The check's still in the mail.
that'll put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, so
But
you can
go
just
So-
that one will be quick.
Yes. So, this application was an IDA. We were requesting for the actual house that was proposed to increase the square footage of buffer zone disturbance. We filed an RDA, and there's general discussion that what was proposed was generally, I believe, too much was the quote for an RDA.
Yes.
But you kindly said, wanted to check with the DEP about kind of the procedure on how changing the limit of work line and such should be going about. Generally speaking, there's 3 ways of doing it that the DEP was generally all right with. Yes.
Was this Judy Schmitz?
Yes.
He tried to talk to me, and I just told him that whatever conversation we had, I'd have to check with her. So I just talked to her first.
So when Brian called Judy, it was they want to change the limit of work, and it was, well, file an amendment. That sounds fine and dandy. The issue with an amendment is that this is a new party. So if we amended the order, we'd have to amend it to include the new party, and then you get some cross-contamination and homogenation from the standpoint of the new party is only with regards to Lot 13, whereas the other order covers all of the development. So for an example, if the original developer does something on Lot 6 that you guys aren't happy with and you file an order for enforcement, now this new party 1,000 feet away is also on that enforcement order. So that gets a little messy. That doesn't clean up everything though. So
and not to state too much of it, but also isn't our problem. No offense.
No, that's fine. Good.
I don't
Right.
mean to be rude about it,
No,
but
that's good.
we appreciate the consternation that's
Yeah.
coming up of this. But
Yeah. Well, you also have the case of you have someone proposing changes to someone else's orders. So
Yes.
that would be akin to an abutter requesting a modification to someone else's order, which I don't want to get into that conversation.
I
So that generally leaves us filing a new notice of intent. Now, granted, I'm just kind of assuming that you guys are going to issue a positive determination. I can try to sway you.
I already filled it out.
sway away. But
Fair enough.
we're-
Okay. No, I'll save my breath. So we got to file a new notice of intent. Now the question becomes, and this kind of goes back onto the druthers of the commission, is what that notice of intent should cover. The DEP generally agrees with these two options. One, file a notice of intent for everything related to the lot development, the house, the driveway, the grading, things like that.
Sure.
To do that, we would ask for a partial certificate of compliance from the Riley Jane, the development order, for this lot and this lot only.
For which lot and which lot?
13.
So, not to. Is there any way to tie this back into the original so you don't have to go through all this?
File an RDA and get a determination.
So no. Okay.
No.
Or there is, it's having the amendment from the abutter, so that it's all messy if there's enforcement issues. That is
Right. Which would be harmful to which would be potentially difficult to the abutter.
well, and potentially
The new
difficult
owner.
to me
Right.
if I have to file an enforcement action and figure that out.
Because it'd be 2 letters?
Oh,
No, it'd be one letter with multiple people in it, and we also have this non-party asking for an amendment of not their order.
Okay, so let's step back. So what we're really saying is that obviously you've heard the commission, and if Mr. Tata was here tonight, he would, I'm sure, reiterate that this is too much change for an RDA.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we left off.
Yep. So if
So-
I could take even more of a step with that, is in talking with the DP, most of my conversation was her telling me, listen, when you do a subdivision, you shouldn't include the house lots. Because that standpoint, it should only be a notice of intent for the subdivision, the infrastructure, the road, the drainage, and the water lines, which led me back to volley back, say, well, I have to design for the houses and the driveways and the impervious surfaces and the disturbance, so.
And
how
she
do I-
said?
Well, yeah, that's tricky, but. We agreed basically to disagree of the sense of, we shouldn't do it from a the regulatory standpoint, but from a design standpoint, I still have to account for it. So
Well,
it's-
then see, it's all clear. So,
So from that standpoint, what this partial certificate of compliance I'd be requesting would be for everything less this water line be released from the order of conditions. And I would only do that if, and basically, once we file the notice of intent to cover the lot development, the house, the driveway, the grading, so on and so forth, that was closed, approved, and when you're reviewing the order of conditions, request the partial.
Sure,
so
sure,
that
sure.
we're not, closing something out and opening it up. The other option, if you like that one.
I like that one better, but go on.
The second option is still a notice of intent, but only for the work between the pink and the yellow lines, i.e. the new disturbance. So you would have this area still under the original order of conditions,
Sure.
and a new notice of intent would be to cover here. Now,
And then you'd get 2 COCs.
well,
One partial and one full COC at the end for
correct.
the piece of the work that was the original yellow, and then the new change between yellow and pink, which would be full.
Correct.
Well, I actually like that better.
Well, that has the same issues with the standpoint of this work in this house within one order is actually being directed and done under the gentleman who has this order. I'm fine with doing it either way because see this portion of the house and the deck, it's still in there, so it's still going to be a notice of intent and it's still going to be a category 2A filing for dwelling and associated things with it. But what the limits that I'm describing is really up to you guys. So one is, if for some reason, they decide, well, I don't like the porch and they want to move this roof line over, who do you get mad at? Under the second option, it would be CJ, because it would be under his order
Right.
of additional structure in the buffer zone.
But
But
the first
the
way,
first option, if it's house, goes to that man. He's the one directing the contractor to build things.
so I guess at this point, what probably makes the most sense, based on what you just described, whereas, so I love the idea of just taking that piece that's different, right? But as you say, then this homeowner, who's now, I'm assuming, has purchased this piece of property from CJ?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's worked out, nothing signed because of
This.
other reasons.
Sure.
Of,
So basically, it seems, and again, I don't want to mistake.
Mhm.
I really don't care which way you go, only because it ends up being hardship one way or the other, right? There's no easy way to fix this.
Right.
Okay. But the flip side of that is that one way you own the whole house and the other way we're back and forth with CJ.
Absolutely.
At which point, quite frankly, we're talking about CJ says I don't care, and then there's a cease and desist, and then everybody loses.
Correct.
It's just a guess. Not that I assume that to happen.
We're talking about worst cases.
Absolutely. Well, it doesn't make sense to talk about best cases.
Well, yeah.
They hardly ever happen. So,
I mean, can we go back to the idea?
we could go back to the election. So, what I would say is that it sounds like the first option where you guys take the whole lot to yourselves and then kind of start over from that perspective makes the most sense.
Well, that gives the commission the most flexibility as well. So
I think it also gives you the most flexibility.
Well, if you don't like the house and want to try to hammer them about shrinking it down, well, if it's just here, then we're talking about that corner.
I don't think we haven't, quite frankly, at this point,
Mhm.
the only consideration that we've made, and I no, speaking for myself here only, but the only consideration we've made is that the changes are so drastic compared to the original that it doesn't feel like an RDA, and that's where we were coming from.
Okay.
After that, changes and alterations that are for discussion are under a complete new NOI. That makes the most sense. And at that point, we can talk about the fact that you're talking about moving the house a couple of feet in order to eliminate that corner. And then, so what are we really fighting about? So that seems like a whole different discussion and a staked out plot plan and standing in the fields, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Okay. So, unless anyone has any other items about it, it feels like the first one, which ties the house and ancillary projects back to a single NOI, seems to make the most sense.
It does. My only question is, why do we have to issue a COC as opposed to amending the order just to eliminate that piece of work
Oh.
and starting with a new NOI?
Amending the original order?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Amend the order to say that there's no house on lot 13.
Yeah.
Because now you're amending the order based
The
on a
plan.
request of something that the person that order that you're amending didn't ask.
Still kind of a third act twist.
Yeah.
If I'm understanding you,
Well, isn't he going to request a COC?
yes.
So what's the difference? I mean,
Requesting a COC is filling out a piece of paper and you guys saying, yeah, they didn't do any work as far as the lot, and you issue a certificate, partial certificate of compliance. Amending is actually a process where we have to get on the agenda, ask you if you feel that it's worthy of an amendment, and then come back to a separate meeting, I believe, based on other cases where you actually vote on the amendment. I believe it has to be advertised,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to be a notification.
Essentially, it's an NOI process. Like
Pretty sure the notification would be to yourself, wouldn't it?
That's something I'm dealing with tomorrow.
Sure.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying that from a
Right,
simplicity.
because, well, I'll dive into it, but basically we're relying on when the assessor updates it, and if the roads aren't constructed, would they can still consider the parcel whole? So
Oh.
for the new notice of intent, I might have to treat the same people.
Sweet Francis. Well, I just mean it's a huge differential.
Right, yeah.
Right, if it's
Sending
split up
two
into
envelopes
lots.
From CJ.
Right, if it's two-way, right? Hey, you own all these.
Exactly.
okay, so here's a potential scenario. Let's just say that we go through this process. We put in a new NOI. He designs something lovely, and whether we approve it or not, we're not there, but he puts in a new NOI.
Go with
The land transfer deal, for whatever reason, falls through. So the new owner, like let's say we get a third property owner who comes in, which NOI do they inherit?
Under option 1, it would be the lot development.
Well, I mean, let's just say
Technically, they'd inherit both until the COC was created for the second, for the first.
But as I mentioned, if we go through the notice of intent process prior to you guys voting on the order of conditions,
You'd be looking for a partial COC to
Correct.
release it.
sign that first, then sign the order. So there would be no true overlap.
Was that part of your discussion with Mrs. Schmitz?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the reason I'm asking that is, let's just say that we deny the second NOI, right? Let's just say. If we deny the second NOI, the original order will remain with the original footprint in place.
Well, if we'd already granted a COC,
Well, we couldn't
We would.
until we
No,
have
no.
a new NOI.
but we just talked about signing one before the other.
Right, so
This
the
is-
notice of intent, you would make a motion to generally accept the plan and the notice.
I see.
To
So it'd
issue an order of
be a
conditions.
same meeting kind of thing, as opposed to a,
Correct. So
wouldn't be the
you-
first night.
Correct, no.
Okay, okay,
No,
okay.
it would be the last meeting.
Right,
of
it's a-
sign this quick.
Kind of a, they're integrated
Correct.
when it happens. Okay.
Correct. So the same way that the motion to accept the NOI and approve it, we would know whether or not it was accepted or denied. And if it's denied, then we would never come in asking for a partial COC.
Sure, sure, sure.
And the underlying is still valid.
Right. So that would be one option. The underlying is still valid. Or we amend it so that the underlying is a blank slate. And then let's just say that the homeowner doesn't work out and the third party comes in, they have a blank slate to build on. You know, do we,
Now you're talking about removing the permanent rights of the developer.
I can't imagine anybody wants that. Well, I understand where you're coming from. You're saying just knock it
deeply
right out.
hypothetical.
But what you've effectively done is you've screwed over both parties. Because you've screwed over the developer because now he has nothing.
Well,
And
he's
you
got a
screwed over
piece
the
of
guy coming
land.
in.
Well, yeah, if the guy coming in, for whatever reason, doesn't work out, the third owner of the land, the third party that comes in, would have a blank slate to draw upon, as
Yeah,
opposed to.
doesn't.
No.
Okay.
You're basically
So-
removing a permit for.
Right. So yeah, sometimes, so I understand where you're coming from, but what you have to think about is that they have rights right now. They have entitlements, and it does them no good to give those entitlements away. That's what you're asking them to do.
Oh, yeah, maybe,
Yes.
I suppose.
Well, yes.
I wasn't thinking of it that way, but when you put it that way, yeah.
Okay. So I like option number one.
Yeah.
Option number 2 gets tricky.
Yeah.
Seems option number 2 is messier than
It's
option number
messier.
1. Well, I guess at the end of the day, because then what happens is,
Mm.
and in fact, option number 2 is even messier for our applicant, because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, if the applicant wants to change something, there's 2 sets of permissions to garner, and that doesn't benefit anybody.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, that just makes life a lot worse.
Well, from a regulatory standpoint, having one person answering the phone would be responsible.
Right. I get to wag my fingers at a lone individual applicant.
Oh, it's no problem to stop a project for 2. What I'm saying is it makes the applicant's life a lot harder because now the applicant would be put on the blocks and we'd say, well, as soon as CJ shows up with you and we can figure it out together, I think everything will be great.
Yeah.
So it's not good for anybody. So at this point, I guess, so thank you for having the conversation with Mrs. Schmitz. It does sound like, as we discussed during our prior meeting, that the commission is uncomfortable working with an RDA for this process. The NOI is the right way to address the changes. Based on our discussion, the right way to do this is separate out the parcel entirely, new NOI, and then at the same time grant the COC, partial COC, so it removes that from the original order of conditions. I would accept a motion to do so.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, actually, sorry, that was the horrible thing to do. So actually what the motion is to issue a positive determination of applicability for 7 Trevor Trail, lot number 13, Riley Jane Farm.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So
If we
make
do
sure
this
we've got
fast,
everything here.
they could sign it, and I could just run the machine there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a great night.
You as well.
I'll see you soon.
On the right page.
Right.
Okay, so you've already checked positive determination. Great. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Okay, and then there's extra at the end.
Make a motion to close the meeting.
No.
For this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, just positive determination. Thank you. I'm gonna send this over and you can pop that on the back, sir. Okay. I'm disappointed by that one.
It's tricky. It's weird.
I guess what I'm disappointed about is that the changes that have happened are all in, after the fact. And my disappointment is that I don't think that's the only one of those we're going to see.
Well, the thing is, too, as a new NOI, you could certainly say no to it, and then the pre-existing order still stands.
Oh, there's plenty to
So,
discuss.
yeah.
In fact, no, this doesn't work for us. But the bigger issue is that, so I was thinking about it as he said it, and I didn't want to be rude, but Riley Jane Farm is different than Pingree Hill, in that Pingree Hill, if they planned to build houses this big, they planned on impervious surface for a house that was much larger. They planned upon driveways that were bigger, so that as the project went along, they were always saying, oh, it's okay. We changed the shape of the house, but it's within that footprint, and it's less. Everything was always less, so there wasn't any, heck, we're starting over, everything's more. Because heck, we're starting over, everything's more is way worse.
Yeah. Also, it gives us the cautionary for subdivisions with several lots that
Please don't do this. Well,
we
I think what probably makes the most sense is to say something along the lines of, just understand that if the house is larger than the footprint you're predicting at this time, or different, then you really need to consider that now, because it will make your life harder. Here's an example of what we went through the first time.
And perhaps I'm getting carts and horses all mixed up here. You could just put this into the regs and say, for multi-home developments, NOI shall be done in this manner.
I think you can probably recommend that, but I don't know that you can require that, because if they want to make a mess of their own application,
Well,
that's
right.
their
You're not denying them any kind of work. You're just saying, in this order, this is the order of operations for how we flow.
Preferred, I think, is the word you can use,
Anyway,
because then they can do whatever they want. Anybody can do anything they like.
like I said, carts and horses.
Yeah, when the Constitution's fungible. All right, so we have a request for a COZ for 118 Sandy Pond Road.
Right, and this is the
Why don't I
conversation.
remember this at all?
Because we did this last meeting. And this was the one
I
that
do.
Mr. Cornelier came in, or didn't come in, and I mentioned that the only thing missing was
it's
the
the third of the three houses.
right,
Special Condition 4 required an official engineer's letter.
right, and so I spoke to him after the meeting, and he expressed a desire to come in and make his own case.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe with the snowstorm and the rescheduling.
Okay. So why don't we,
So we'll just kick this can.
yeah. So it's a request for a COC. It isn't even a public meeting.
Right.
But why don't we, I would accept a motion to continue this to our next meeting on February 23rd.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
23. Sweet Moses, it's already the middle of February.
And then
And Chuck, it's Valentine's Day, right?
Yes.
I'm just making sure.
he loves us.
I'm here.
Did you bring those little hearts they pass out in grade school for each one of us? Because if we don't have one for everybody, it's not right.
Would you guys like a heart-shaped chocolate box? I can go get one.
No. Is that why you brought them in? Because it's Valentine's Day?
Hey, you're
Well, isn't
You're
that sweet?
Yeah, I stopped at the gas station.
As long as it's that, not gas station sushi.
This is moving on then, I suppose,
Yes, abbreviated Notice of Resource Area Delineation,
right? Which I
For-
still don't have the check for.
0 Washington Street. And our applicant left.
He wasn't repping that. He just dropped off the new wetland flag
Okay.
hard copies.
Is that part of what I have here? No.
No. No.
Man?
So yeah, there's 2,
It's two.
Thank you.
and it's just flagged 25. That's the only thing that was shifted.
That's, we have new plans.
Yeah.
What's
So when we last left our heroes,
what's the plan number?
This is job 151053D.
151053.
Delta,
D, dog, Danny,
and it's Rev 1,
dogma.
February 9th, 2017.
Yeah, flag 25 is right.
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we last left this,
Oh,
when
wait a minute.
we last left this,
Mhm.
Mr. Nick Pauling of GPR was present on behalf of the applicant. Said a revised plan, including missing flags, would be forthcoming. We had performed a site walk on January 14th. It was actually very pleasant out with Mr. Goldsmith. We had the benefit of Mr. Crossman on site, which was very helpful for the delineation. Yeah, and we were pending the revised plan because it didn't make sense to vote on it with just that one flag.
But now I see duplicate flags. 21. So there's two duplicate 22 flags.
20, 21,
22,
22, 23,
24.
24,
Interesting.
25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 34A, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 48, no, 47. Oh, no, there it is. It's written in the line. Working backwards from a 22-year-old, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is odd that there's two 22s.
Duplicate 22s and duplicate 25s,
No,
right? Is
Where's
that's
tw-
25?
that's 23.
Oh, right. 3 and then 4,
4, 5, 6, 7.
So it's just duplicate 22s.
Yep.
Alright. So I'll ask for new hard copies again and see what
Well,
the
I guess
story is with 22s.
I guess what the real question is
Well,
we didn't have any concerns about extra 22s,
I know.
and now we have extra 22s.
Hmm.
So that's kind of kooky. So we were talking originally about flag 25, right? Wasn't that what we were talking about? And that was this area over here? 25 was missing? This is from our walk, flag 25 creates a ridiculously narrow area. And that was one of the reasons to have it on the
Right.
plan.
right. Right.
I don't remember this being missing. Do you? I don't remember stuff being missing on this path.
No.
Did he maybe move one out when we were in there? Yeah, we just said missing flags. All right. Well, let's step back a step. So we walked the site. We know from Mr. Crossman's soil samples and discussion of the vegetation that he found that the area that we're in more or less describes the roadway, or more or less describes the edge of the wetland along this shared roadway. Is that a fair statement? And this area up here by where this culvert pipe
Mm-hmm.
is probably about that tight.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if I may be so bold, there is zero way to come off of Groton Road and
Washington Street. Yeah.
Washington Street.
Yeah, it
Thank
turns
you.
into Washington.
Why does it say Groton Road there?
It's wrong.
Oh, well, there you are.
Plans are wrong.
Well, we should have had him change that.
Yeah, that's the first thing I mentioned about metal conservation.
So there is zero way to come off of Washington Street and travel along this road without being in the wetland, in the flagged area.
Fair.
So after that point, it's just a case of quibbling about what moves and how it moves.
Yeah. Or, how much wetland replication and where.
Well, or if it's okay to move.
Right.
So there's a whole bunch of okays or nots or maybes.
Right.
Okay. Would you like to have any public comment?
Sure.
Well, I figure you were
Look at the
happy
plan.
enough to sit through it. It'd be sad for you to
If I look
leave.
at the plan, I'll probably have a lot more comments on it.
So just so
Yeah, the first thing
we're
he's gonna do
just
is
so
change
we're just so we're on the same page. The way that an ANRAD works, it's an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, and what that means is that he's not saying what he's going to build.
Right,
He's
I
not saying
understand
what he's not going to build.
Yeah.
He's just
He's
saying
gonna
that this is
determine
the
what the line is.
this is the flagged line.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I had great comfort on the site that day, and others can give you their opinion. Mr. Crossman was there. Mr. Crossman's been doing this for a very long time. As he went down, he continued to take soil samples as he went down the line, and as he did,
Excuse me.
no, certainly. He continued to take soil samples, and as he did, he basically showed that all of the flags that he had placed are very conservative, sometimes by 4 or 5 feet.
I remember that.
And so I had no concern or question about what he's done for a line. If you were to ask me if this line was accurate, I would tell you that that line is about the best line that we were going to get from that walk that day.
Why didn't you comment that there was no way they could get off of Groton Road or Washington to not go through?
So what I meant is that as you come off over here,
He's in a buffer zone, but he's not in a wetland.
when you get to, this is all buffer zone work,
Right.
but as you come up to here,
Oh, to get to the lots.
if you were trying to get to this back
Got
lot,
it,
there's
yeah.
no way
Right.
without having some change to what we have for wetlands.
Got it.
And that's again, this doesn't speak to what the plans are for if he's planning to build over here or he's planning to build over here. Doesn't matter. What is important is that based on our walk that day, this is really narrowed down, and we brought that up to the applicant when we were in the field.
Yeah, they definitely should change that.
We will certainly let him know that if he has further applications, he should label the road correctly. Yeah, I don't know where the Old Harbor Road came from. This, according to the applicant, this is a term that I detest, a paper street,
Right.
where at some point, Ayer, like most small towns, is chucked up into lots one way or the other.
I've done research on this, and the research I found was, so they're gonna be to their benefit, actually, is that the subdivision plan for Madigan Way shows this as being abandoned in 1949 by the town of Ayer, which was the questions I brought up.
Oh, interesting.
So the subdivision plan the reason I'm looking at the subdivision plan is because
And that was
And
literally
the
and
rights of that
effectively banned. It was
subdivision
probably
may
banned for 10 to
include
20 years
everyone who's
before
in the
that.
subdivision according to some regulations. It may
Sure.
have rights to this.
So interestingly, when we were on site that day, one of the things that the applicant mentioned to us is that they were in the process of researching
Right.
some of those rights, and they were, as they said, it was not clear, and they were in the process of trying to get more information about it. That's Madigan's house.
Mhm.
And you're on the other
The
side.
only thing I was really interested in the plan was they definitely stopped their work on the drawing they're submitting here, at the end of that lot right here.
And they
Where
certainly
can-
did.
In the field, you may or may not know that it continues
We did walk this.
infinitely out there.
When you stand out here, part of the discussion that day with GPR, who also did Riley Jane Farm over
Right.
here, was what this was, how this met in the middle.
Mhm.
Now, one of those pieces is, of course, the power line comes through there. It's not so simple as that.
Yeah.
Right. So this flagging did continue. They left it off the plan for their own purposes because it's actually not
Not part of
germane.
this job, yeah.
But we did walk around that, and in fact, that's where we walked around, and that's where we found that gigantic
Enormous tree.
pine tree.
Yeah, that was down.
Very, very large pine tree that the power company took down and, for whatever horrific reason, just left. And
They've done
then-
that all over the place, on both sides of
Yeah.
the road, up and down.
Despicable. Just
power lines.
despicable. They should have hauled it out. Should have hauled it out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So, I am not so particular that I would force them to make a 22 and a 22A on the plan. I would accept the 22s or 22s. It doesn't make sense to continue for another public hearing to have them remark a 22.
Right, but we have to continue anyway.
Ah,
Waiting on the repayment for the legal notice.
there you go. No money. We've run into this before. Remember that lady?
Yeah, but remember what we've done in the past, I think, has been issue it.
We can
not
hold their
release it,
ability to
not
release it.
Right, and
Yeah.
but I mean, in the meantime, we could also get them to not have typos and to change Groton Road to Washington.
To Washington Street.
Since the job is on Washington Street.
Washington is the hospital. What is the hospital on Washington Street?
The hospital's on Groton Road. Now, if you can get this one solved, you're really gonna be a winner. Groton Road starts
Yeah, where
at
is
the
it?
medical office building. That's what starts.
Oh, wait.
Washington Street ends. 188 Washington Street is the house just before the hospital.
You know what it is? Washington Street and Groton Street change where Half Moon Road comes in. It's an old three-way. And
There's a lot to it.
Half Moon Road is another paper road.
Oh, yeah.
So when you come from West Main, or from East Main Street, you're coming on Groton Harvard Road.
It's actually
there.
Main Street, but that's not.
Or Main Street, but you're coming from Groton. You're on Groton Harvard Road at that point, right?
Right.
And then
From
it turns into Washington and then it turns into Groton Road?
That's correct.
so you're saying there's a span of Washington Street before Groton Road?
Yes, there is.
Who
The
knew?
reason I know that is because the deeds on all the houses that are on Washington Street don't end until 188 Washington Street, which is where Groton Road starts at 200, or 190, excuse me, Groton Road. It's a very strange situation.
Let's just hope the whole country isn't this way. Okay, so stepping back. So the primary question is, do we have enough information to vote on this application? So I feel we have enough information. Do we have a check? We don't have a check. Do you have an opinion?
I see no reason not to wait.
No reason not to wait?
Yeah.
You miss?
I don't see any reason to wait.
So one yay, one
Oh, wait,
no.
wait, you want to wait?
Yes.
Oh,
Sees no reason not to wait.
see these double negatives that some people employ, self-included.
No reason not to is I see a reason to wait.
Right.
I differ. I think we should get it right and just, continue to try to
So by definition,
Strive
that's
for
not deferring, so that's good.
excellence.
Strive for excellence.
If they were here pushing for it, that'd be a different story.
That's true. So,
Does
At this
anyone have
point-
a wait or not to wait, double negative or singular to
oh no, I think
typo?
we've hit it. So, I would accept a motion that we request that the applicant provide their check. Number one. Number two, that they relabel the road consistent with the information in the assessor's office. And number three, that they modify at the same time the plan number, the plan flag numbers, because there are multiple 22s.
So moved.
Second.
If you could request those things of the applicant, that would be swell. So, continuing public hearing for DEP file number 100-0398. Motion to continue
23rd.
to 23.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Which, if I may interject, I would like to remind you,
We have a comment.
right, we have a comment meeting as well as a regular meeting.
So I'm not worried about the COC for Sandy Pond Investment Trust. In fact, this one here, as long as the plan comes through and it's printed right, it's not a big deal. But let's be considerate. So right now we have a notice of intent, and potentially we continue that to the 9th since the 23rd is full. Okay. So why don't we open notice of intent, DEP file number 100-0399, lot number 2 off Groton School Road. Mark Anderson's applicant.
Represented by Mr. Sears here. And that's what you guys have in front of you. And Mr. Sears and the filing cabinets were kind enough to provide some of the past And actually, we're going to ask you to come over here so the
Okay.
TV can see you.
So who?
The TV,
Oh,
that
great.
camera there.
This is your fault.
We had no idea. We just found out about it.
I have
Really,
here
that's where you're gonna go?
several sets of plans relating to former ANRADs, former plans, and former wetland replications that took place.
For this property?
Across the street.
Across the street.
The wetland that is delineated,
Right here?
Yes.
right? So if you need any reminders, we have these. And then that project did receive a COC, which is here.
Sure did. Not to stop your parade, what was the date on the COC?
July 16th, 2013 was when it was recorded.
So at a minimum, unless it was delineated the day before, the delineation is over 3 years old?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The delineation, I think, is from 03.
Oh, I wasn't gonna go there. Just,
I actually redelineated
just
this
did these recently?
just recently.
When did, forgive me, Steve, why don't you go ahead and present? I don't mean to cut you off at the...
I'm Steve Sears from David Ross Associates, and I'm here on behalf of our client.
Oh,
Mr.
wait. Did we officially open?
I did.
Okay, wasn't listening. Sorry.
I was all over it.
Mark Anderson wants to build a brand new house on lot 2. I actually forgot my email.
There we go.
No, this is fine.
You
This
can
is
point,
fine.
you can talk to the camera.
I got it. I'm just gonna pull a pencil out here. He's gonna build a proposed house on this lot, which is actually out of the buffer zone. What is in the buffer zone is the proposed driveway, and he wants to put a lawn in here. And that's why we have this note to remove, actually one note to remove the trees and the shrub brush, is because it's gonna be a modular home. And he explained to me that he would not be able to fit this house in here unless he actually removes some of these. Now, after the fact, after the notice of intent was filed, Brian had questioned us about the trees, so I went back and we actually located all these trees and took some photographs that are not in the NOI of the front of the lot. So that'd be looking at it like this. These trees would be are the trees right there, the oaks and pines, right there. That's these trees here. The rest that's coming down is mostly scrub brush. There are a couple of trees that are located, that are in the driveway, as you can
Yep.
see. And, yeah.
Is everything that's listed here in the driveway, is that all, I
Yes.
assume that all has to
Yep.
go?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I located everything in the buffer zone within the buffer zone that was over 6 inches in
Thank you.
diameter, and showed them on the plan. So basically, not to make light of everything, but the driveway and the loomed front lawn, and of course the removal of the trees are the work that's involved in the 100-foot buffer zone. The closest point to our work, I believe, is 34 feet, which is where the driveway begins at the edge of the gravel right-of-way. And that's about it.
So one of the things that we had that was one of our primary concerns, Steve, was that when the gentleman, was it Mark that we met the first time?
Yes.
So when Mark came in the first time, he said, well, as you can see, I'm outside the buffer. And we said, based on what? and we said, did you delineate the flags? And he said, no. And we said, so how do you know where the buffer is? And we weren't being flippant. It's, as you know, it's a legitimate question.
Yep.
Unless you flag the buffer zone, you can't tell me that you're outside the buffer. So this is great. When were you able to get out and do the flagging?
Actually, is there a date on there?
November 15th.
November 15th. And then, November 15th, but I actually went out and tied a couple more these because we stopped right here.
Mhm.
And I went back, I can't remember when that was, 2 weeks ago.
That was before the storm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before the storm, before we had any snow. So yeah, just recently.
Okay. So I appreciate that very much. Our primary concern was the work, obviously, where the buffer related to the house, so it's great that the house is outside of the buffer zone. And you show 28 by 80? Is that,
Yeah, that's what the surveyor gave me, that's the box.
okay, okay.
It doesn't show all the joggers and all that.
No, that's
The
fine,
driveway,
that's fine.
yeah.
But 28 by 80, he's gonna fit inside of that.
Yes,
Okay. And as you know, it's non-jurisdictional at that point anyway, so we're okay with that.
all right.
So the driveway's gravel. What can you tell me about off Groton School Road? Obviously, we need to have so we're in NOI, so we're gonna have a site walk.
Yep.
What is the condition of the road? Is the road humped in any way? Is the road relatively flat?
It's basically dead flat. I don't know, Brian, well, you think it's got a little
Pretty
It's
flat.
starting to get a
crown
little.
to it?
Yeah, it's starting. But it's eye of the beholder and all that.
Yeah.
Half empty, half full.
Gets ruddy, there's ruts.
Yeah.
There are some, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not paved.
Sure.
It's gravel.
So what he's suggesting is a proposed gravel driveway, so he'll have maximum infiltration.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, oh yeah, there it is. I was gonna say, I thought we had a control here somewhere else. And then I went to see.
Had to
I
be
don't
somewhere,
see it,
right?
I don't see it. The details up here, there it is. Okay. And we kind of said that that should be, we actually recommended that he puts one up here when he leaves at night, just so nothing, if it rains,
Sure.
nothing runs down over
Slow
the
it
driveway
down.
too.
Okay.
Oh, here it is.
No, I think relatively simple. Again, when we saw Mark the first time, all of our concern was, how do you know where your buffer zone is if you don't know where your wetline is?
Yeah.
So, Jess, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I mean, what's feasible for a site walk at this point?
Oh, boy.
Looking at to be fair, the property, the issue at hand is mostly woodlands, and the trees are still taller than the snow.
Well, I guess the way that, so my biggest consideration is the roadway and how that affects the way that we can control runoff.
And the plow job is going to be
Right.
Yeah.
So, I guess what I would say is that I would like the snow to melt. However, we understand your client wants to take some trees down.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't pour the foundation in the fall.
Nothing's done yet, it's all
Okay.
wood. These
So-
pictures were just taken, like I said, a couple of weeks ago when
Just before the
when
snow.
I finished flagging this. Yep,
Sure.
just before the snow.
Okay.
And actually, I don't know, there's the right of way,
Boy, that's flat, huh?
pretty dead flat. I mean, if anything, there might be, you may have an inch or two higher in the middle than where the treads go.
Yeah, hard to say.
Yep.
Okay.
I do recall there being a little bit of a berm going into the wetland.
On the far side.
On the wetland side of
Yes.
the road, there's a little
Yeah,
bit
it's
of a
kind of
berm.
mounted up there a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
So, Steve, this is one of those difficult things that always happens during the winter. I know why.
Right.
So, if I remember, a big part of what your applicant was looking for was to be able to remove trees while it was cold and easier to do so. Is that still a concern?
Well, what he wants to do is actually, the modular people want to get in and unload this, so what he wants to do is build a foundation.
Now?
I think, he's not here, he said he'd be here. You know what? I told him 8:30.
Well, that's okay.
Well, and that's on the edited
Yeah.
edicts.
Oh, that is true. Fair point.
Yeah, I apologize, I got here
No.
But
Okay.
I think he wants to get construction status of what he
So-
wants to do, so.
So I think our problem would be the
Right.
stumping, right? So let's say, I don't have any issue, and I'd love to hear other people's opinions. I don't have any issue with cutting of trees outside of the buffer zone, in the area where the foundation is.
Okay.
And I also don't have any problem if the barriers were put in place and you did the excavation outside of the buffer zone to start on that. The problem you're gonna run into is the only way to get there is to cut down a bunch of these trees that are in the buffer zone, and it looks like you'd have to stump them.
Yeah, I would definitely say for modular equipment to get in there, I don't know much about them, but yeah.
Well, so my understanding of modular equipment is that somebody wants to park a big crane right here, and they want a trailer right here,
Yep.
and they want to pick from there and drop there. That's
So-
about it.
So the trees, well, they have to be stumped.
They would have to be stumped, which
When
puts
you
us in a,
say Stumped, are you talking about removing the stumps?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
all the way. Not kinda.
No,
There's no kinda at that point. Oh boy. Well, that's a pickle.
yeah, because I don't foresee, I mean, mid-February, if anything, we're gonna get more snow before it melts.
We're supposed to get rain tomorrow. You could hope it's more than
Oh,
it's
well.
less. Even with temperatures as high as 49 on Sunday, I don't know that we're going to be in a position to even have bare ground to look at this. Do you have any thoughts?
Other than the photos,
Right. Any thoughts, Mr. Bacon?
Well, really,
let's see this, these are over here.
it's a pickle.
It is a pickle.
So
Ms. Cugino?
these, or these trees here?
Well,
Probably
these are,
erring on the side of a conservative.
That big one is.
yep, see
or
that group?
one.
For the first time ever?
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah.
So these little lines would be in here, but now all these
Back
big
in
trees
there.
in the back, that's out of the buffer zone.
Okay.
Haste makes
So the
waste.
only trees that are in buffer, these, that group there, and then on the other page, those, yeah.
So he would not be removing these.
Well,
I tell you what.
I'm not sure exactly what it is.
So why don't? I think we're stuck in the middle of what might be a proposed driveway and what might be a path through that's not identified. I have an idea. So 8:30.
That's what I told him.
Okay. So why don't we, if it's okay with you,
Yeah.
why don't we take a pause
Sure.
for him to arrive,
Oh, yeah.
and we can talk about it. Because if he says that he can park the crane here and leave the trees and do the work outside the buffer, and we can address these other things as being
Exactly.
something that happens in the future,
Yep.
then fantastic. But if he has to do this and dig this up, then we need a real site walk, and if we need a real site walk, then we need a clean
Okay.
site.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So why don't we just, why don't we pause,
Yep.
wait for him to show up, and if he says, yeah, I was gonna park the crane over here when I take the small stuff down,
Yep.
you know, we can work around some things.
So procedurally, would you like to continue this
Until time certain, which is 11 minutes from now? I could do that, but I feel just as comfortable doing a pause and taking care of some,
Just leave it open.
just leave it open for the next 11 minutes while we take care of some business, some administrative business. Sure.
And in
As long as
light-
the applicant is okay with it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you would. And in light of that, I can explain, I was in Lancaster Conservation Area, and I had told Brian, I said, boy, I'm gonna be in Lancaster. Put me down at the latest you can. He says, how about 8:30? I says, I'll take it. And then I just happened to show up.
And it worked out. Okay. So Steve, why don't we take a pause? We'll take a breath for 10 minutes while we wait to that handsome gentleman over there. Okay. We'll just put this aside for just a
Okay,
few minutes.
Yeah.
Alright, so what would you like to move into?
Well, I tell you what, why don't, what could be better than discussion about, actually, yeah, cost proposals are bigger. We'll do that after. Why don't we do Parks and Rec request to support a proposal for the perimeter path? Thank you very much.
So this is a path they want to build. Jess, you know this already. And he
Does
already.
this path already exist?
Nope.
That path does.
Well,
I've walked it.
Well, this is
Path
for
in
doing a sort of gravel, somewhat paved one that's also ADA compliant.
Oh,
and at this
This
point,
is-
it's a support of the concept. So that
Okay.
they, they're gonna look into engineering and look into cost proposals, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just looking for a supportive statement.
Basically, for an application for CPC asks for other relevant boards to indicate that this is an important thing for the community and
so it's crazy incestuous again.
crazy incestuous. Historical Commission has been asked for things for others.
So the drafted letter states,
Yeah.
I am writing to ask you to support the Ayer Parks and Recreation Department's Perimeter Path project. This path would create an ideal walking area that would provide a great number of people easy access to the natural surroundings of Peroni Park and the views of Grove Pond. Several of our members accompanied Jeff Thomas, the Air Parks Director, on a walkthrough of the proposed walkway.
2 of us.
Several. It is our hope that your committee will agree
40%.
to hold, to hold a public hearing to offer our citizenry, a word that's not often used, an opportunity to familiarize themselves with this project so it can be voted on at Springtown meeting, May 8th. Thank you for listening to the wishes of the Conservation Commission and the citizens of Ayer in this matter. I approve. Did you approve on your walk?
Yeah, I think in the walk, George, remember it was in this area that they're not planning on putting a path in. It was a very steep.
It is. That's
So,
where the baseball
we had
field is down
talked
the bottom
about-
of the hill.
Yeah, and it was like to do that would require a retaining wall, so they're avoiding that.
It really drops off in the back there
Yeah,
significantly.
that'll be,
Yeah.
you know, should they pursue that idea, that'll come later. First things first.
No, that's different. We're talking about up here.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
wrong ball field.
Yes, over here
Yeah.
to get around there. And then eventually they want to probably continue this over.
Well, that's a
To
natural
look at-
pathway there anyway.
Right, but to have it be, again, ADA compliant and travelable.
Okay.
But
Let's just
it would
grass.
require, yeah, but if they do it 5 foot wide, then it needs to be, goes into the playing field. So I think they have to work something out with their housing authority about that slope, which is eroding.
Oh, yeah.
We need a retaining wall, so they're not doing anything right now. But their argument for doing this little extension here would be that it gives people with disabilities access to the picnic area and
Oh.
the
Yes.
playing
You
fields.
should be talking to the camera.
And it's right
Yeah,
here.
you know.
You're just getting what you get. So,
So what does an ADA compliant path look like?
well, it has to have certain grades.
Is it paved?
Yeah, well, it'd be a pavable.
Yeah.
Not necessarily,
surface.
like permeables, you know, like
Is it
stone
permeable?
dust
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
stuff is
Well,
fair.
maybe
Stone
not
and stone
fully.
dust.
Just
Thanks.
curious,
Yeah.
okay.
Haven't
okay.
seen the full on that, but it has to be a certain width, it has to have certain, there are a couple areas where they are gonna have to do grade changes.
Uh-huh.
I did ask Jeff about, he's gonna have to come before conservation. He doesn't wanna come before us with a notice of intent until after they find out if they get funding
Well, that makes
for
sense.
it or not. So he's well aware that he does that.
So this is
Uh-huh.
basically a letter in support of the
Yeah.
plan,
Right.
so that he
Or-
can move forward for the money, so that he can
Right.
come back to us with a real plan.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay? Did you like it?
Yes.
I'm supportive.
Excellent. Well then, because I know that George has always professed to be an athletic supporter, I believe that I would accept a motion to sign this letter to the CPC.
So moved.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Wow.
It was right there. Are you a second?
Oh, I'm a second. I'm a second.
You're a second athletic
Still get
supporter?
that athletic
That is
supporter
fantastic.
Image in my mind.
All in favor, say aye.
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 You can keep it.
That'd be nice if we all signed.
I mean, you can recycle it too, I don't need it.
We'll pick one handy later on.
Okay. So while we are completing that, Mr. Anderson, we took a pause in your absence. We got started a little early. And actually, we have some, hopefully, some good questions that might make your life easy.
I'll come back up here.
Mark, actually, if you want to sit right over there.
Oh, thanks.
So we were discussing with Steve a couple of different parts. So as you know, when you first came to us, you said this is where the wetland line is, and we said, based on what? Steve has been back out and he has flagged the wetland buffer, so we
Yes.
know exactly where things are. So if the wetland line is here, we have the buffer extended, and what we were talking about is how you would do any work at this time. So the hard part, just so you know, when we have a winter application for notice of intent, the tough part is that we can't walk the site in the winter because we can't see anything through the snow. So that's the tricky part.
Mm-hmm.
However, the majority of the work that you'd like to do, our discussion was that you'd like to place the foundation and place the house on top of the foundation at this time,
As soon as possible, yeah.
okay? So the real question is, if you needed to take those trees out, our problem is we need to be able to see that area when there's no snow on the ground. Is there a way for you to work around the trees that are there without having to dig up the stumps?
Well, it's a modular home. It's 56 feet long, so I'm going to need most of that to make the swing, and I don't believe they could do it without the stumps being out.
Well, so one of the thoughts was, and I have a little bit of knowledge about this. If you brought a crane into the space that was in here, and these trees were cut down so that they were cut low to the ground, so that the trailer could park here, you would be able to swing through that area if all you were doing was cutting down the trees. Then we would be happy to work with you because we understand your drive to do this now. We'd be happy to work with you. The disturbance we're looking to avoid is the excavation. We could take a walk in here later in the spring. You'd already have the house placed. We'd take a walk when the snow was gone, and at that point you could finish up the project by removing the stumps from the driveway in the other area after we'd had a chance to walk the site in the dry conditions.
I'm not clear if they can swing that large of a house that much of a distance with the crane being extended out. I don't know.
Sure.
I have no idea on that.
So it's 56 feet long, 2 sections though, right?
2 sections, they're 14 and a half by 56 feet long. I'm almost to the point where I'm willing to wait till spring to do it anyhow, because I don't even think I could get the foundation dug now.
Well, we were talking about that, and I don't think you'd have fun doing it, that's for sure.
Yeah. And it was almost like I'm living here and here now with my brother. It's like another month. What difference does it make at this point?
Unfortunately, a month ago, bare ground, and all of a sudden the last 2
I know. It's been the last 2 weeks. Now we got snow. It was bare before that. Because I have no idea if a crane can lift that amount of weight and swing it that. It's 60 feet in, so.
Well, no, what I would anticipate is that they might even have to place it part way. They might have to put some dunnage down in order to make it work. There'd be different ways to do it. I guess what I'm saying is that, so we would like to work with you if it's possible.
Okay.
Our issue is the work that's inside the buffer zone we can't properly see, and we would be really not doing our duty if we said, yeah, it's good. I mean, we couldn't see it, but go ahead. So we obviously can't do that.
Okay.
But cutting down this tree that's inside the buffer, but not removing the stump, that would allow you to proceed. So if you want to talk to the crane company and have a chance to look at what you would have to cut, etc., then you could mark the trees with the crane company. Brian could come out and take a look at it, and we could work together to say that your excavation outside of the buffer zone, that's non-jurisdictional area.
Right.
If you thought you could excavate and put the foundation in, because the crane guy said to you that he could make it work,
Okay.
then we would be excited to work with you to go forward on that.
Okay.
What we'd love to do is have you come back at our meeting on the 23rd after you guys had a chance to hash it out in the field, and you can go ahead and dig the foundation tomorrow if you want to.
Right. It's
We
getting
would-
to it.
We would just want to talk to you about this work before it happened.
Okay.
So
Before the excavation of
before
the stumps?
before you actually cut the trees down. So in
Okay.
other words, if you wend your way back in here, which from the picture it looked like it would be possible cutting the small trees.
Here,
Yeah.
Yeah,
There are some pretty big trees that are in.
Well, what we did, Mark, is locate these big ones on the side here and put them on the plan.
Okay.
And then over here, there was a couple of where the driveway's going. But as you can see, right through this whole area is just scrub brush.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
So I have a question before because, I mean, would it be possible to, keep these trees?
Mhm.
Remove these trees, which it appears they're over here, and then your truck swings in, this way off of Old.
Well, you have to remember you need the space. So if this is the crane,
Yeah.
okay, they're not going to pick the house up over the trees and down.
No.
So they're going to want
No.
to swing it around the side. So you basically need,
Right.
if this is 14 and the crane is 12,
Yeah.
you need a pretty big space in order to swing a house, especially if it's 56 feet long.
So the house is being taken off
Yeah.
of the
You'd be
truck.
coming off the
Yeah.
trailer, right?
Off the
So that's the
trailer,
other
off
problem.
from the road.
Right, where's
Yeah.
the trailer
So-
located, and then where can I swing it once it's physically in that place?
So the trailer's
So
not
Bonnie
coming in the
can-
driveway. It's not, you can't get it into the driveway.
I really don't know how they're planning on doing it, but I don't think you could make a 56-foot swing
So,
without taking the trees
so I've done a
out.
bunch of this work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what ends up happening is, first off, is that the crane guy wants nothing to do with those trees.
No.
Not a
No.
one of them.
Yeah,
No.
If he needs 30 feet, he wants 100.
yeah.
Okay? And the main reason is that if things get hung up or caught up, that's not good for anybody, including the crane guy. The crane guy is going to want to park as close as he can to the foundation because he's going to want to boom out and over so that he can cable and boom down in order to place the halves on here. So if the crane end is up sitting here, that means he's got to swing his boom around one way or the other in order to get to where the house is, where the pieces are. There are ways, and we have walked things up a hill before this way, but it's no fun.
So Bonnie, perhaps I can rephrase what I think your concern might be, is how much yard do you intend to put in? Like how much grass is gonna go in and how much of this might regrow as, more scrub brush or more big trees?
Well, I want to clear some, obviously, around the house and stuff for a yard for my grandson and stuff, yeah.
Because Bonnie, I'm assuming you're worried about the wild space being lost.
Well, I'm thinking backyard seems to be, the backyard is out of the buffer, right? That seems to be a large space, right? I'm just concerned about removing everything from within
Right,
the
so
buffer.
perhaps
That's all I'm concerned
As
about.
part of this process, we can talk about maybe your front yard, we would have it stay more wild. And instead of grassing the front yard, maybe see about
You
grassing
could
the backyard.
replant
kind of thing.
trees.
Right.
You can replant trees, I'm
replant
not against
trees.
that, yeah, I'm not against
like
that.
that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of the idea I'm assuming you're getting at, is the loss of the trees and that space. And if he were to let that stay wild
Yeah,
after
the
you come down
root
and
system is important, right? For within the buffer,
Yeah.
kind of prevent.
I'm not looking for a well manicured lawn, if that's what you're at, no. I just want to get it in there, and if I
You want to
gotta,
build your house.
yeah, and if I gotta
Yeah.
plant a couple trees back in after, I'm not against planting a couple of trees.
I think so. We're trying to come at it from two different directions to get to the same place.
Yeah.
So the nice part is that a pre-manufactured or modular home involves less work on site. It goes up faster. It's better constructed. It's a great thing, except that it requires a lot more
It's
space
space to
in
get
order
it
to
in
place
there.
it. You just takes area in order to get it over to where you want it to be.
Yeah.
So that's what the hard part is.
Yeah.
If you have a big,
Yeah.
wide open area, modular homes are great.
Oh, yeah.
So, in this case, we've got a bunch of trees that are effectively making it less great. So, what I think we would need to do, so the next step in any notice of intent filing is that we would have a site walk. So obviously our site walk is put off. However, if you would like to do your homework and find out if somebody could do the foundation and if the crane guy could do his job, then we would be happy to work with you and talk to you again on the 23rd. If you find out that no, that's going to be a lot of hassle and let's wait for April or end of March, whatever, until we can get back out and do the walk, we're fine with that too. But we just want to make sure that we're working with you on what
I think personally, we kind of made amends with ourselves that we were going to be here until we weren't going to really be able to get started till March anyhow.
Okay.
And it costs effectiveness on the cement, everything else. At this point, I got to put calcium. It's $5 a yard. It's 90 yards of cement. It's like
90.
Yeah, I'm doing the garage too. The floor and the floors are included and all that. That's 90 yards, about 90 yards of cement between the walls and the floors and everything. So it's almost like I'm okay with waiting till March where you can walk it.
Sure.
Because I didn't get the impression when I talked to Matt from Astro Crane that it's a big house to swing and it's going to take a big machine, and he said he's going to need all the room he can get.
No, I'd assume he's 220 or 250 ton crane.
Yeah,
to
it's a big crane. He said it's the biggest crane we have to do this with. So I was more looking, can I kind of do anything I can do to expedite the process. Can I?
Do you have a hairdryer?
Yeah, big flamethrower or something. But can I get in there? Can I have Greg Harrod, who's going to clear the lot, start doing those types of things as well? So if I can't really dig or root stumps, at least everything's down, and as soon as the weather breaks, I can get in there and get going. So that was really my. If we couldn't do it way back when I met with you guys the first time, I kind of knew the window was closing because of the frost on the ground. Everything is.
Well, I feel like we're in a better spot, but I also feel like, like we're saying, without being able to walk the site and get a feel for it, we're in a really tricky spot. If you wanted to do clearing that was beyond the buffer zone,
Right, yeah.
then that's,
yeah.
and if that, I assume that would help you,
It would help.
because it's clearing to be done where the house
Sure,
is.
any bit helps, sure, absolutely. It's just I don't know what Greg was doing. If he had given me the intent that he can get it all done in a day.
Was he including the big trees that were out by the road?
Yeah. Because part of the deal with me hiring him is he was gonna, whatever logs were farmable, he was gonna take them and process them.
Sure.
So I'm looking, obviously, the sooner the better, but I'm not like tomorrow or next week. It doesn't really have to be that. No.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys being willing to work with me that way.
Well, we'd certainly like to. I mean, the nice part about it is that the majority of the work is outside the buffer zone, which
Right.
is our first thought. The work that happens inside the buffer zone is to remove the trees and stump, which will disturb a large amount of material, but at the same time, you're putting in a driveway that water can go right through. So,
Right, match the road. We're doing
right.
that.
So far, everything's on the right page from that perspective, and the lot is relatively flat. So your disturbance isn't causing a problem where it runs down and goes into the pond, goes on into the wetland. So overall, from those perspectives, everything's headed in the right direction.
Okay.
The only concern I have is, again, that our process is we do the walk like we do every single one of these, so that we can see in the field. And we have been in the field before and made changes based on things we found when we were there.
Okay.
And so I think we're probably, if the plan is kind of all or nothing, then my recommendation would be, especially if it's, even if you cleared it, you're not going to put the foundation in anyway. And if he's only a day to do everything, I think I'd say that what I would love to do is continue you to March 9th, about a month away, and let's see if the snow has gone away.
Okay.
Now, if you'd like, we can even continue to February 23rd. I don't know that we'll be out of snow by then, but if we are,
Next week.
Yeah.
what day is today?
14th.
I like your enthusiasm.
Well,
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't want to put you in a hard spot. If all
Right.
the snow magically melts tomorrow, or
Right.
you get that hairdryer,
Right.
so why don't we say March 9th? And you certainly don't have to appear. If there's too much snow, you or Steve can let Brian know that we still have too much snow. We can't walk the site.
Right.
And then we just continue to the 23rd.
Okay.
And then at the earliest opportunity, we'll hop on out and we'll be able to walk the site and go from there.
From your knowledge of it, and Brian's been out there, do you foresee any real issue with it? I'm very willing to put hay bales. I'm willing to do whatever
No,
you want
I
to
don't.
do.
But the problem is that I've said that before and then showed up on a site and said, well, that's different than I thought. And so it'll take us a Saturday morning,
Oh yeah.
and then we'd be out of the way. And, at that point we can work with you on the rest of the schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, with the piles of snow along the roadway now, you
I don't think I can get it in there.
can't
That's
do hay
yeah.
bales or anything right
Right.
now. so.
Now all of a sudden you'd be using a loader to clear snow and everything inside the buffer zone in order to,
No.
that's not.
No. No, it's like I said, it's
that
not
can only
the end of
go
the
the
world.
wrong way for you.
Yeah, like I said, it's not the end of the world if I get it in the next 2 weeks. I'm perfectly fine with waiting until.
So March 9th
Mid-
and then
mid-March.
23rd, I'll check with.
Well,
if
yeah,
snow's
thinking
still
as
there,
the
we'll
snow
go-
allows.
Yeah, if you let us know that the snow is gone, then what we'll do is we'll, on that night, we'll reopen the public hearing. We'll set up a site walk. So that Saturday would most likely be the 11th. And if we could, we'd walk it that Saturday, the 11th. If the snow hasn't receded, then we would we'd have the meeting again on the 23rd, and if it's cleaned up by then, we'll do the 25th. So, is that,
That's satisfactory
Okay.
to me. Yeah, that's- that's-
I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
It's too bad that, we just all of a sudden got all that snow all at once.
I know.
So,
3 weeks ago, that wouldn't have been a problem.
I know.
It was dry.
it's just how it works
Well,
sometimes.
those are the pictures I took when I was flagging this, so.
Okay. Does anybody have any further questions for Mark or Steve? Okay. So I would accept a motion to continue this public hearing to March 9, at which point we will reevaluate based on snow. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you very much, and we look forward to either talking to you or seeing you.
Okay, thanks.
And again, and you don't have to come on the 9th if the idea is we're just going to do the walk. Either way, no sense in that. Just let us know what the
Right. So what
best
I'm
plan is.
expecting is that you guys will say, "Hey, we're good for this Saturday. Open up the meeting."
Right.
And
Yep.
then I'll open the meeting, or they'll open the meeting, and I'll do it Saturday. Thumbs up all around. Okay, great.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
And I have extra copies of the plan, if you want to take them.
Oh, that'd be great. I think I have one, I'm not sure.
Why don't we go to our discussions, and we'll jump to the bottom one since we have some of our friends from the Dam Pond Committee. Cracks me up every time.
I like this little table over here. All right. So this is the way this is gonna happen. Have here a little form all written up,
Ooh.
and technical proposal, assessment, and ranking.
Yep.
So, the things that you guys said last time,
Yep.
just say them again, make sure you all still agree and you all still understand what you're saying to each other. Write it down here, give it a rank,
And then,
and
The
open
money.
the envelopes. After this is all written down and stated, and then we've got space for signing and agreeing.
that is fantastic,
And then
and
we'll
all
hand
on camera.
Yeah, and then we're gonna hand this off to Robert, and the rest flows through Robert.
So the only disappointing thing is I didn't watch any of the old Johnny Carsons, where he would rip the envelope.
Oh, yeah. You
Remember?
go into it,
Yeah, but would he wait,
rip it
remember?
open,
Yep, but
Right?
first he had to say, he said what the joke was.
yeah, the joke.
Right? And then,
Well, he put it up to his ear.
And so going along with this is a payable for the legal ad.
oh,
So it's $145.86.
sweet Moses.
So while we're doing it, since it's inclusive and it's part of the same package, this is a different thing we can do with later.
Okay. So before we do anything, since we did purchase a legal ad for an ad advertisement in the amount of $145.86, I would accept a motion to pay for our ad, for our RFP, and this was in the Lowell Sun, for $145.86.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. So, when we last left our heroes, we were talking about the RFPs. We had 2 bids received. One was from Solitude Lake Management, and that came in alone.
That came in alone? All by
Solitude
itself.
Lake
Oh.
Management came in alone.
Yeah.
And then the second one was All Habitat Services of Branford, Connecticut, which, if I remember, touched off some lively conversation about Branford, Vermont, Branford, Connecticut. It was pretty exciting.
Can't
So we
keep
were-
a Branford down.
So, we reviewed the technical non-price proposals for each, and we used the following evaluation criteria: testing plans and procedures, time plan for treatments, method of treatment, and specificity, i.e. unique issues pertaining to each pond. During our review, we found that both proposals were responsive and responsible, and both guarantee doing an effective job using trained technical specialists. During that review, we found that Solitude provided a more well thought out proposal with a broader use of chemicals. Solitude highlighted a different and more specific treatment plan for Pine Meadow Pond. Solitude's time of treatment began earlier, in late April or early May, than All Habitats, likely more advantageous for town residents' use of Sandy Pond during swimming season. And it was noted that all habitat provided better testing protocol information. So, we said at the end of the day, both proposals guaranteed reaching the same end goal, even if by different means, and therefore we indicated that we had a preference towards Solitude, and that the next step would be to open the price proposals and see how they compared. So, we were happy to get two proposals that were both viable in that they state how they're going to do it, have trained professionals, and guarantee results. So I'm going to put down a couple of those over here on our technical proposals and ranking. So I'm going to note that both offered or proffered guarantee
George, can I see
Any disagreement
Thanks.
with that assessment based on what you guys saw?
How could we disagree?
Yeah, well, I was going to suggest if you wanted to
If
see
you
if
felt
there
like
was
it, you
any
could.
comment from the peanut gallery.
Well, hold on. I just wanted to make sure I noted the things that we came up with so that we don't miss our technical proposal assessment and ranking. We said that Solitude was more thought out, broader use of chemicals. And because we had an HR training today, I will leave alone broad use of chemicals. Solitude had a Pine Meadow Pond treatment plan.
Thank God for HR trainings. Yeah, bada bing. No, bada bing, right? Yeah.
God didn't come up.
French.
Treatment time for Solitude would be an earlier treatment. And all habitat better testing protocol. Now, the reason that this was important, and I think we all felt strongly, and I'm going to ask before we go ahead and open the envelope, is that we both felt, based on the fact that both have a guarantee, both have specialists who are licensed, both offered a treatment and then testing protocol, in effect, both will work. So, did anybody have any other thoughts on that? Did anybody change their mind?
I just have one comment about the proposed scheduling, because I had forgotten that. I sort of remembered what All Habitat had in their RFP, but they actually say, they do list late May, early June, conduct the pre-treatment inspection of all 3 ponds, and then mid-June,
Right.
late June, conduct the initial treatment. But, above they say specific and mutually agreeable date or dates for these chemical applications will be scheduled with you in advance. So if we, had a preference for treatment time, I'm just wondering, is that
Well,
would they be able to,
And we only have what's in front of us to go off of.
Right.
I think the only question was, right, so if Solitude started looking at the ponds in April and treated at the end of April, beginning of May, then the time frame where, swimming isn't allowed
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
over almost 2 months earlier
Right.
than what the other folks are offering.
Yeah, because they could come back and we could ask for the same schedule, and they could come back and say, no, sorry, we can't.
Right, we just have what
Right.
they've offered.
Okay.
And it isn't necessarily bad. Treatments in the past had been during swimming season or right
Yeah.
around swimming season.
Right.
So it's not that it's a negative, it's just that one has a positive in that they're offering a treatment earlier.
Right.
So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, neither one of these is a bad proposal. And that's probably what matters the most. All right. I'm sorely tempted to Google a Johnny Carson envelope joke, but I don't know if one will come up. Was there any further comment from Pond and Dam? Did you notice anything we didn't notice?
The only thing that I noticed, it appears that Solitude has a deeper bench for expertise that would be available. I found they showed 2 licenses for pesticide control in all habitat, 6 in Solitude. It just seems that they have more staff available. That could be an issue when we get into the scheduling issues.
Sure.
In that if you've only got 2 people that are qualified in Massachusetts, it's going to limit their availability. While if you have 6, you can be dispatching 2 to one town and 2 to another town, etc. So
Right.
that's the only thing that I was curious about. I'm not an expert on a lot of the stuff like you guys are, as far as the water quality issues and all that other stuff. But that was one thing that I noticed that I was curious about.
I think that's a great point. Sometimes we think of a company and you fail to remember it's made up of people. And if they have an illness and they only have one guy going out doing work and it was supposed to be 2 guys, then yeah, that could hamper their ability to provide the service. Again, as we discussed last night and we discussed at town meeting, one of the real reasons to do this now is to sign a contract in the month of March and get ourselves locked in as soon as we possibly can. So, I'm totally tempted to Google one of those jokes. I used to love those. Does everybody remember those?
Yes.
Right?
Karnak.
Karnak. You know
Karnak
what?
the Magnificent.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing?
We're
No.
gonna do it at the same time.
You need the
I'm
hat.
doing it. Hold on.
You can't do 2 at once.
You'd be stunned.
How many fingers do you have?
Hold on a sec. So it was Johnny Carson, and it was Karnak. Do you remember these, Brian?
Remember? What do you mean remember?
Was he born yet?
Hold on. One of the final.
They were like decades into reruns by the time.
One of the final Karnak segments. See, he used to wear the funny hat.
That was a funny
How do you raise him?
How do you raise the bid at a turkey auction? Let's wait for a good one. Okay, so all right, so I used to love these.
Wait, I don't think past tense is over here. I think current tense might be the way to go. There might be a rule about laughing with knives. Like running with scissors.
Running with scissors.
Ovaltine. Ovaltine. Oh, eyeball habitat. And the There's no money written on here.
It's free. It's Bitcoin.
It's Bitcoin.
It's free.
There was we'll talk about podcasts in a minute. I don't like this at all.
Well, it doesn't matter if you like it. It's matter whether you like this one or that one better.
No, what I don't like is that we have to go and do the math on this, and that makes it
Would you like me to do
somewhat
math?
subjective. Well, no. So, what All Habitat has provided is proposed cost and payment schedule. We have provided separate costs for each aspect of the treatment on a not-to-exceed basis. Ugh. An invoice for the balance will be submitted at the completion of the treatments. So, on here, only because does that one have a solid number? Single
The
number?
program cost summary, and I'm not seeing any variable adjectives. It is straight up.
So, since they have been pleasant enough to put that down, what is the price proposal for Solitude, please?
61.5.
61.5 even. Okay, may I just, been doing this for a while.
I'll trade you.
Inclusive, all labor, materials, equipment required to perform all work detailed in 2017 plan. So 15 and 5, Sandy Pond is 20, Flanagan's is 30 and 5, so 50, 61, 5, yep, that even adds up.
Wait, can you give
What
the?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Sandy Pond
So
is-
they said permitting and notifications, $1,500. Survey and reporting, $5,000. That's pre and post survey, as well as interim survey and year-end report, $5,000.
Okay.
Sandy Pond, 20, which is sonar, herbicide, and up to 2 booster applications. This is about to become important as we do math on the other one. We're going to need a spreadsheet to do the other one. That irks me. You have Excel on there, sir? Do you have Excel on there? On your machine?
I have,
I'm gonna sit next to him and start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we literally, it has to be added up if we're going to be apples and oranges.
I was just taking notes, but we can do it in a spreadsheet.
Yeah, no, basically.
Well, the Solitude one is, see how it's all broken out?
They
Oh, sorry, all habitat.
separate costs. For
So
each
Sandy Pond was herbicide with 2 boosters. It was 20 grand. Flanagan Pond is sonar with up to 2 booster for 30 grand. And then Pine Meadow is reward as needed to control water, variable leaf water milfoil, and Aqua Pro to control nuisance level water lilies. And that was 5. So altogether for that work is 61.5.
Mhm.
So
We're going to do 700 here, and that's a not to exceed estimated cost. So it was 700.
what's the 700 permitting?
That's that's the paperwork.
Paperwork, okay.
450 for insurance.
Okay.
Cost per single publication of legal notice of application in local newspaper.
300 for notice. It's not gonna cost 300, you just did your notice for,
The cost not to exceed.
Right.
$1.50.
yeah.
You get the
So
savings.
per single publication of legal notice, they're only going to do one legal notice, I assume. Or did the
Well, that's what's interesting. So this is again where this is a little
Yeah.
frustrating. So these guys talk about doing sonar with then 2 boosters.
Yeah.
By definition, that's 3
So
ads.
3, so we're going to put 900 for that. So
You know what? So the way that I would do this, and only because I don't know if you've ever had to do these with comparisons. It's a pain in the butt.
So at the end, just remember, you're gonna have to summarize it, so it's.
No, I know. What I was going to say is don't do it as 900. Do it as put a 3 over here and 300 here,
I hear you.
and then that way, because later on if we want to modify some of those,
Yeah.
because we already know that 600 is enough to cover
How much
3
is one
advertisements, so we
ad?
don't have to screw around with it.
That is 300.
And so we're going to do another 3 because the cost of mobilization and demobilization of personnel only per event is $850.
Well, actually,
So an event is like a day's work, yeah?
it is, but that means we have to do 6 because it's actually 7. Sonar initial in Sandy Pond plus 2 boosters. Sonar at Flanagan plus 2 boosters is 6, and then a trip to Flanagan's is 7.
I'm
Pine Meadow.
I'm envisioning that more as like they drive out of their trailer in Brantford, overnight it maybe up here, and then put it back to Brantford.
Well, and that's why I kind of want to do what we're talking about here. So just put an 8 in that column. That's the worst case scenario.
Fair enough.
Like if they had to come 8 separate times.
All right, so then the next one is for personnel and equipment per event is $1250.
Times 8 again,
Sweet
Yeah.
Moses.
right?
Right.
Yep. Cost of single or post-treatment inspection per acre.
Holy moly.
So in that original proposal, is there acreage anywhere listed?
I
You're
think
talking about over
got it
80
right
acres just for Flanagan Pond.
I think there's acres in here.
So that's 160. We'll go back to this one.
Oh, here we go. Zoinks. Okay. So can you add a column to the left, sir? You in Excel that?
Actually, I just installed this, I've never used it.
Okay. Here. And mind if I?
This is a LibreOffice because I've got all this Apple stuff on
Do
here.
you mind if I drive?
You can drive.
So here's what I'm gonna do.
All right, so you're gonna have acreage.
Oh, I hate your lack of buttons.
23 plus 85 is one.
How do I write button?
Control.
You're pooping me, right?
It's 108. 23 plus 85. It's 108 acres.
Okay, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dee, 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 dee. Why doesn't this? It doesn't.
You want to go home and get a mouse for you?
Yes. Thank you for asking.
178, 183 is the 3 ponds.
Yeah, but that's so. What we're gonna do is we're gonna break it up.
You want to do it by individual?
Well, only because what I want to do is I want to be able to say things like, I want to compare.
Okay.
So.
All right, say one.
Do you know this thing doesn't let Control C work?
Are you not a Mac person? Are you a Windows automaton?
I've been using Excel since Karnak was doing what he was doing, and I'm really freaking good at it. So this is incredibly frustrating.
It's like driving on the wrong side of the road, huh?
It's worse. It's so manual. Okay.
All right.
So we know that 700 is 1, so equals that. And we know that 450 was the insurance. Or was that the advertisements? No.
Yeah.
Insurance. Okay, equals that. And then we said 3 times 300 because we said possible 3
Right.
events. Cost of mobilization and demobilization, $850 per
So
event.
Sandy
Insurance,
Pond is
$1250 under
74
that.
acres.
And those are
I
possible
knew
of 8, but we
I
can
had seen
see.
it before.
So by setting it
But
up
we
like
can
this, I
vary
can
it.
modify those.
Yeah.
Is there questions?
I follow.
Okay, so then it was cost per acre.
Right.
So F, so Flanagan's Pond, Sandy Pond,
Flanagan's.
and Pine Meadow.
Right. Which would you like first?
Why don't you tell me, hold on, 160 and 160, and equals that times that.
How many acres do you have for Sandy Pond?
Sandy Pond is 75.
Okay,
Really?
it's close
That's what
enough.
they're listing it as.
I got 74, but that's,
They rounded up.
yeah,
74 and a half. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, round it up. Yep.
That times that. Okay, so it said Flanagan was 85, right?
Flanagan is 85.
85. Sandy Pond was
75.
75. And Pine Meadow,
23.
23. Okay. So what
And
is
the cost is 160 by the acre.
Yep, I got that one on here.
All right. So now
And
the
that's
next
the cost of single pre
Pre
or
or
post treatment inspection.
per acre.
Okay. Mobilization and labor not included.
Right. That because that's up here. Cost of mobilization and demobilization. per
Okay,
event.
so hold on. So now
Not
we're at
included.
pre and post inspection and the work. So if I go to Sandy Pond once, twice, 3 times a lady in order to do regular and 3 sonar treatments, I just mobilized at the tune of $2,100 3 times. Then I have a pre-inspection and a post-inspection. I'm 5 mobilizations potential just for Sandy Pond. Then the same for Flanagan's, and then 3 for Pine Meadow.
Yeah.
Sweet bubbling Moses.
Well, hold on. Let's see how the math adds up. Because they are competing against 61.5, which
Yeah,
is a
well,
number.
right now, without even touching anything, I'm at 25, 26, 27, 28. I'm at 29 grand in
Oh, so
pre
this
and
is a
post
good race because
inspection.
we're halfway through their.
Pre and post inspection. No, I'm 29 grand for just the inspections.
They haven't put a drop in the pond yet.
This line item here, single pre or post inspection, okay? I'm at 29,000 for a inspection. And I have a second one, I'm at 60 grand without doing any work. I'm at
Okay.
60,000 to inspect.
This is going to make this an easy selection.
It
then.
really does.
But moving on. So cost of single photographic survey per pond is $1,300. So we have
Okay,
3 by
3,
$1,300.
1,300.
Water collection and analysis, 12 sample tests per pond is
3,600 per pond.
So that's 3 by 3,600.
Yeah, but hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Remember, they talked about a greater sampling protocol.
Yeah.
They were going to come out several times to take water samples.
Right,
So-
12 sample tests
12 sample tests per pond.
is 3,600.
Okay, so 3,600 per pond, so that's covering all the 12 tests.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so but we're still gonna say 3 ponds,
Yep.
3,600. Okay.
Cost of project completion report per pond report.
4,500 per report?
No, I think that's a bad phrasing. Let's just call that 45. There's no way they're going to charge us.
54,000.
It says per pond
I-
report.
I think per pond
54,000.
report might be like
Yeah.
per the geosyntax report or something like that.
Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the more
Summary.
conservative and then we can work backwards, because I don't think we're even close anyway.
Yeah.
That's what it says here.
The limnologist hourly rate is $150 an hour, which is irrelevant because we don't know.
We don't know how many hours.
The pesticide applicator hourly rate is 90, and the operational tech hourly rate is 65. And this must be built into the cost of mobilization and demobilization personnel. There's no way they expect us to figure out how many hours is involved here.
We would make Lisa very
Like,
happy.
what, we're
for
gonna
you.
guess how many hours to come up with a price here?
Yeah, at that point, unless they told you how many hours for each visit, how do you do the
That's
math?
insane.
Yeah, how do you even know?
The per
8
acre
hour
cost is sort
day.
of one.
He gets 3.
Initial single application is 2,600 an acre.
And then per acre cost of sonar bump is 1,600 an acre. An acre.
And you're talking about,
That's,
You're talking about
Talking
over
about
200
150.
acres.
Yeah.
Almost 200, you're right,
yeah,
almost 200
almost
acres.
200.
I think they've done something terribly wrong.
Apparently.
I think they meant to use the word pond, not acre.
I think I agree with you because the numbers just don't work.
The only other way that it makes sense is if they said, well, that's just acre of application, so we're not applying over the entire pond, we're applying over acres, in which case the next question is, well, then how many acres?
They did do
Is that
better.
10?
They did not do the better technical proposal, so apparently they also did not do the better price proposal.
This is, so even,
So let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and see what the number.
so I'm
Per
just gonna
pond.
do this, and
Per
here's
pond.
here's the funny part. Okay? Well, the sum feature works, unlike the mouse. So, all I did, and by the way, I only counted one at $160 an acre. I only did pre or post, so I'm actually gonna do this. So, do I dare? Can I enter? Can I? All right, hold on, I'm gonna cheat.
It's amazing watching you short circuit. It's
This
great.
is really frustrating. I need other buttons and stuff. Did I tell you I had the seared tuna? It's delicious. Okay, so if I add on just another round, so that was 75 acres times 160 was $12,000. That's the pre. Well, there's your $12,000. That's the post.
Okay.
There's the other post. There's the other post. Error. Hold on.
What's the other one? I just want to see because there's no way.
Well, $160 an acre is gonna be like $32,000.
She's almost wondering if I have kids. Okay. I'm at 105,610.
Okay,
Now-
round everything down.
Now, here's what I was
Yeah.
going to say, okay? So now what I can do is, and again, this is why I wish I could do something with the, oh my glory, okay. So, let's say the 700 stays the same, okay? And the 450 for the insurance stays the same. If I say that they can do all of their, if we were 150, if they had to come back 3 times, we say it's 450, okay?
Oh, am I supposed to be writing this down?
No, I'm doing it in here, and then we'll
Okay.
go from there.
Okay.
What I'm doing is I'm saying that we said that they would need 3 inspections at 300 based upon their number. I think 450 is fine. We know it's $150 for the ad for this. We can do the same thing for the other. Okay? We said that by their own definition, may I see that again? We said that, boy, if they came back 8 entire separate times, times 850 would be 6,800. So cost of mobilization. So let's say they came out here 3 total times. Once to treat all 3 ponds, once to do a bump in 2 ponds, and once to do a bump in 2 ponds and do Pine Meadow again. Okay? So if we just change that to 3, so we say equals 850 times 3. Okay? Then the same here. We said mobilization. Instead of 1250 times 8, we say 1250 times 3 equals 1250 times 3. The reason I do it out like this is that later on you can remember what your logic was. In here I just got boxes you can't see squat. Okay. Single pre or post treatment inspection per acre at 160, and this is the part that freaks me out because this says mobilization and labor not included. That's why there's labor per hour down here.
Potentially. Let me take advantage of you being in here and reformat the question here, because the Sandy Pond treatment program, you're saying is 20K.
Yep.
So divide 20K by 75 acres.
We can do that, so let's do that. So equals 20,000 divided by 75. We get $266 an acre.
And then Flanagan's.
That's 3 treatments.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, hold on. We still
Using
need to do it on
the
this
same
one.
logic, right?
Yeah. So equals, well, I've got a Sandy Pond line.
Yeah.
So equals 20,000 divided by 75. Okay, let me delete this. Delete. No, all. So.
I'm going to cut out this video.
What was Flanagan's?
We're going to post it online for like a training video.
I'm going to hit stuff on this again and you watch what it does. It is not making any sense in the Excel world.
So, yeah, it's not Excel.
Excel.
Flanagan's is 30K.
30K, so equals 30,000. And we said 85
1.85,
acres.
Right.
Okay, $353 per acre.
Okay.
Ooh.
And then Pine Meadow is 5K.
Equals 5. And mind you, those were both for 3 treatments each.
Right.
What did Pine Meadow come out to be? 23 acres.
Right.
Okay, $217.
But
Okay.
Pine Meadow is a different treatment.
Right. Pine Meadow is the lesser treatment.
Absolutely, and a single treatment, whereas the other 2 ponds were a potential 1 treatment and 2 bumps.
Is the public allowed to have any input at this
No.
point while you guys?
Not just yet.
Soon though. Soon.
Well, so the important part is that we have 1 pricing with a single dollar figure at the bottom, and we have 1 pricing which is a la carte. And so we're trying to get to the bottom and figure out if it's worth buying the wings.
Yeah. So in the a la carte scenario, is there any potential math where the per acre cost to treat a pond, when you sum the mobilization with the labor with the whatever it is that they've got there?
Well, that's what I was trying to get to. So what I was trying to figure out is there a way that I can ostensibly suggest a way to combine these to make a more sensible figure? And I guess I'm really concerned I can't. So there's no way around. Just my inspections alone come to $320 an acre. What did they have for? They had $1,500 and then 5. They have a total of $5,000 for pre and post treatment surveys. Okay, if I go on here at $160 an acre and I do 2 surveys, I'm $60,000 for what these guys charge $5,000.
Yeah. They must have just written this badly. There's no way.
Well, either that or
That's standard boilerplate they use for everybody.
either that or pond was supposed to be acre or acre was supposed to be pond. Because that's what I was trying to get to was, is there a way that I can kind of chew through this? And I guess the answer is I don't think I can.
All right. So just from an interest in like everyone wants to go home kind of standpoint,
What?
do we do their work for them?
Oh, well,
Or do we just say there's no way these people know what they're doing because they can't even give us a fair price?
If
no,
you're
no,
doing
no.
the work for them, you're making assumptions, which could bite you in the butt.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now, $105,610. I can tell you right now that we added up the same events that are in here in the most conservative fashion, and that's why I was. I'm just going to run through this. No, that's what I'm going to run down through this in say 3 trips, and so I've already done that with these numbers up here. Let me do these,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say that that this is double what it should be, and then just even see if we're even ball.
Yep.
Okay? So if we say that that's your 13.6, and that's your grandma's 12,000, and that's a bubble is 3680. So what was the 1,300 and the 3,600?
1,300 is the cost of single photographic survey per pond,
Okay.
and the 3,600 is cost of water collection and analysis per pond.
This just says reporting. So they've wrapped up their pre-post treatment surveys, their interim surveys and summary reports, which of course by our definition in our RFP includes all the photographs, and their year-end report as $5,000
And this sums it to 14.1.
and change. Well, when you consider that I'm $30,000 just to go do the survey.
Well, right, and I'm rounding down.
Yeah.
Like best case scenario is 14.1 for that particular detail.
Boy, that's just kooky. So even if I say that they were wildly out of place and they meant to be not 3 times 1,300 but 1,300, not 3 times 3,600 but 3,600, not 3 times 4,500 but 4,500, and then I don't even know if there's a way to.
So using your
Do you
wild
realize we never
imagination-
even touched these 2 bottom ones? When we said 105,000, that was without a drop of sonar in. So if I now go and put the sonar in, equals 2,600, and I'm just going to sum up and say that 75 plus 85 is 160 plus 23 is 183. Okay? I'm going to multiply by 183, and I get $475,000 of sonar.
I think that's probably
All
just
treatment.
the price of sonar. Or like, let's just say this is the price of all the chemicals they're going to use.
I don't know, that's per application per pond.
Yeah. Let's assume it. Let's assume. All right. So.
So
we
you're
can
saying
consider-
change that to 2,600 is the total?
I'm saying just put down 1,600. I'm just reaching here. And the problem that I'm walking into here is that if they're dumb enough to write it this way, to make us have this impression,
Yeah.
they're probably not carrying the kind of weaponry that we want deployed.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the high road, and I'm going to say that they meant to say per pond, and I'm just going to type these in because it takes 2 seconds, and I'm going to get another number, and I'm going to say equals that, plus that, plus that, and on my best day, I'm saying that they're $118,000 following the protocol that we just talked about. If I then come over on the other side and I say they could not possibly have meant this, then I still need 3,680, and I need, so I won't include those 3, which is pretty irresponsible. I'll put the 7,800 in, and I'll put the 4,800 in, and I will say equals sum, because that's what we're doing in Excel.
Not better, not better, not better. You have an iPhone?
Not that I like. I come out at $62,860,
Making every assumption in their favor.
making every assumption in our favor.
How much,
Yes.
how much again? How much again?
$62,860. Now, what I did
Which
was
is still
I
1,200 above.
So I took the insurance, the application permitting, then I chopped their $300 per publication notice to $450 for 3 notices. I took $850 per mobilization event, and I said they're going to come to town 3 times. So $850 times 3, $1,250 times 3. Then I said this $160 pre and post treatment per acre is garbage. And I said $30,000 is your total for all that. Not 2 visits, that's both visits in one cost. Then I came down and I said, single photograph per pond, they had 1,300 per pond. I said, that's crap, it's 1,300 total. They said 3,600 per pond for water analysis. I said, that's crap, it's 3,600 total. They said 4,500 for the project completion report per pond. And I said, that's crap, 4,500 total. Okay? Then I used, instead of 2,600 per acre, I used 2,600 per pond for the initial application, which comes out to $7,800 for all the sonar. And then I said, instead of 1,600 per acre for the bumps, I said 1,600 per pond, and I multiplied by 3. Okay, which means actually, I probably should have multiplied that by 6. Okay, the end all be all is when you get all done with that, it comes to 62,860, with me making a huge number of assumptions that are not supported by their language. By me saying, boy, that seems out of whack. I bet 62,860 would work, and they could come to us rightfully and say, did you sign this one? Yeah, because that's 5,000. It's 118,210. Send the first check to my house.
So then, it's a fair thing to assume that on our piece of paper, we're going to write in a range of 62.8 through
118,210. The problem with that is, and again, so here's the only thing that I'm concerned about on this, is that my 62, the single, no, because I've done this before, right? Open bids lots of times before, and when you get a bid that's this far out of whack, you throw it away. It goes out. It's like, remember in our, and I'm still bitter about this, remember the single measurement that they took on Flanagan's Pond to determine what the, remember it was off the charts, and they said, that can't be right. It's like, I'm sorry, you took the sample. So either it's right or you don't take samples well.
Well, I think what they meant was it was a big day. But they only want the one sample.
They took the one sample. So
pay for more.
Take 10. Anyway.
Well, you know the other clue, so I'm reading through. So all of their pond references, so the references that they list, very small acreages. Nothing more than like 10 acres.
Of the ponds that they've treated,
Yes.
or our ponds?
No.
Oh.
Anything that they've treated has never been more than 10 acres.
Okay,
and
so
it's usually small. It's like
No,
5
so-
acres.
So that's
10
fine.
acres.
But we're
No.
really clear. Our RFP actually lists the acres of the ponds.
I know.
So for them to sit there and say, oh yeah, well we were thinking of another pond,
Right.
doesn't make me feel better.
Right, and what
So
Ronnie's saying is their experience.
So I'm
Sure.
saying that.
High intensity, small spaces. They don't know
I
how to
have no
translate it.
question.
Yeah.
I have no question. But then you have to flip that on its head and say, oh, we have experience in these small ponds. Boy, I guess we're going to do a big pond. Because if we did this, I'd like to think they did this.
Hey, who's ready for a vote?
Is there nothing more after this? So that's the only thing. Thank you for consideration of our management services for Sandy Pond, Pine Meadow Pond, and Flanagan Pond. So they have clearly identified it's all 3. We are pleased to offer the following price proposal for your consideration. Respond to the bid solicitation, Town Bid 17CC01 from the Town of Ayer. Please, spelled wrong, reference our technical proposal for treatment recommendations, project outline, no comma, and company overview. All Habitat Services LLC strives to provide you with practical options for management of the invasive plant species, variable leaf watermill, foil, fanwort, and common reed, while integrating best management practices in all 3. Well, no. I just want to make sure this is the right way to do it.
Is this your response?
All 3 water bodies. Hold on. Please listen. The objective for this aquatic plant management program is to establish healthy and balanced plant ecosystems with diverse native plant communities capable of mediating competition from invasive species. Our management recommendations as presented to the Town of Ayer in this proposal will further improve water quality, recreational use, and aesthetics of Sandy Pond, Pine Meadow Pond, and Flanagan Pond. Pretty hard to say that they were only thinking of one pond or slipped up. They've listed it in here 3 times, and they were trying to save us so much money, they took the E off, please, that they've clearly listed out that they were accommodating everything. And if we add these up by the letter of what they said, it's $118,210, and that's if I don't use the real numbers. No, you know what? So this is going to be painful. Let's do this. They said $2,600 an acre, right? So we were at 105,610 equals 2,600, and what did I say? Was 150, 160, 170, 183 times 183. $475,800, and at $1,600 per acre, And that's a single treatment. Right? And we knew we were going to have to do this potentially a couple times. Times 183, 292,000. So if I follow the letter of what they've written based on the acreage in our ponds and using this unbelievably terrible spreadsheet, I get
I'm convinced you're only doing this to make fun of the computer.
$874,210. That's the number that has to go on that sheet.
What's the number?
$874,210.
We should save money by dredging.
I'll write it. I want this.
Do you want the full range, or you just want the middle?
No, I'm going to put the range on. I'm going to say that so let's start. So, I mean, I'm really positive I did this right.
You did it right, and you did it as wrong and as wrong again as you could in both directions. So like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The thing is, if you have to worry about it that much, that's
No, and again, if we had so
That's
here's
the problem right there.
but this is the right thing to do,
It's not
right? It
clear.
took 10 extra minutes, and it was the right thing to do.
It's not clear.
Shush. So I can't make this crap up. $874,210 to, and again, unsupported by the language provided by the proposal. More legitimate and kind of in the ballpark is 62,860. I don't even feel comfortable writing that down.
well, that's yeah.
It's entirely unsupported by the language. The number that I could actually see being kind of close is 118,210.
Which is still
And that's unsupported by the language.
Yeah.
Sweet bubbling Moses.
Clarity an issue?
Ovaltine.
Unbelievable.
Do we have more chocolate?
Yeah,
It
we
really
have more.
slows me down.
You want another one?
I had Coca-Cola today at lunch. Do you have more?
Yeah, I got
We had because
Yeah, you want that?
You
Yeah.
want that too?
no, just the Snickers.
Who wants a chocolate? It's like,
I'm taking the
you
other
want
one
it-
too.
you want one?
Thank you. Okay,
Yes.
so as I understand it, so before we actually eat the chocolate,
Whoa.
Oh,
Wow.
that was better.
Okay.
Better
You didn't
throw.
play, you
That
kinda
was a
did.
better throw.
Okay. is everyone comfortable with the unfortunate work that we just went through to prove this out? I mean,
I'm not uncomfortable with that.
I'm quite
I'm
comfortable.
quite
you-
comfortable with that.
you
And nice and toasty.
I know, that made me feel good.
Yeah.
okay?
I feel warm all.
Thank you so much, Chuck, for having your computer tonight. That made a big difference. I mean, sure, Abacus would have been preferable, but at the same time, at least I can see my work afterwards to know what I was thinking.
We vetted through that.
When this is over, I'm going to tell you about the HR girl. Okay, so at this point, we have
Is she
two.
like the hearty cheeseburgers girl?
So at this point,
Or is that Carl's Jr.?
there were assumptions made. At this point, we have two technical proposals. We agreed that we gave greater consideration to Solitude Lake Management's proposal based upon their guarantee, broader use of chemicals, Pine Meadow treatment plan, and their earlier treatment time earlier in the season. All Habitat, we said, had a better testing protocol and did offer a guarantee. And we said, and I'm willing to bet this is pretty much exactly what we said, boy, the two are really similar. If one was $1 million and the other was 1,000, we'd take the 1,000 every day of the week because we can't lose.
That's what we said.
Okay. So one is 874,000 and one is 61.5. I would entertain. Did you have some comments, sir? Before I go past.
Keep my comments quiet. Because whatever I say will not.
I hope we're all on the same page. I feel like we've done their homework for them. Wasn't that nice? Still probably won't say hi to us when we go visit her at college. So I would entertain a motion to award this RFP to Solitude Lake Management and forward this proposal on to the Board of Selectmen.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further comment? I just want to make sure we're all bought in. Jess, you're good with our process.
Yes, I'm fine.
George? I see reticence.
My only thought is, do we want to send our assumptions back to these folks and say, is this right?
Yeah, I think so.
I guess my only concern about it is that's a second bite at the apple. And then in that case, we have to do the same thing with Solitude and say,
Are you sure about this?
are you sure that's the right number? And then they come back at 874,000.
No, just say we did all our numbers out and came to this bottom number. Is our math right?
Well,
Even the best case scenario, it's still more.
Yeah, even the best case
The best case where I
Best-
cheated,
over
The
1,000
best,
more.
best.
cheated was 62.8.
Just be nice to know, for sure. Even if we.
I could write them a letter saying part of the reason you were not selected is that your math is unclear.
No, that's true, but that's the horse out of the barn.
Mhm.
So your suggestion is,
I'd
Well-
be willing to go ahead with Solitude and, just ask them anyway.
Yeah, I think it's.
well, but then to what end?
Yeah.
Well, so today,
So when they submit next time, we'd know.
well, so today is hold on, I have a calendar.
14th. It's Valentine's Day.
Oh, son of a gun, it is.
It's the town's
I'm here.
birthday.
What?
It's his birthday.
All right, hold on. How long have you been married?
46 years.
Adjourned. So, you're welcome. So,
She's watching you.
yeah, but not live. And his laugh is distinctive as mine. So here's what I you know what? To George's point, even though I don't agree with him, to George's point, because I have respect for his opinion, you know what? The 23rd is 9 days away. 9 days away. We have a meeting on the 23rd. We have the ability to send this back to them and say, we came out with a range of 874,210 to 118,210. Would you like to give us some additional information regarding your proposal? Please provide a single one-line number for this work based on the RFP.
That kind of thing might be illegal.
How's that?
The second bite of the apple stuff.
Well, so that is my concern, is the second bite of the apple. But at the same time, well, we could do it as a post, right?
Yeah.
After action review.
Yeah.
I would do it as a post and just say, couldn't we say for future reference?
I just hate
Yeah,
wasting
for-
people's time.
I
That's
know,
all.
if for future proposals, this was the range we came up with, and,
Right, we used our
right.
RFP and your math and came out at somewhat greater than $750,000.
No.
Right,
You were somewhat above your competition.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
next time
so-
we may want to just, put more definition into how they should prepare the cost proposal.
Well, we could do that, and in fact, that's a great point. I guess we were so used to Solitude coming in with a proposal like the one they came in with that we didn't have any questions.
So
This buffet method is
The
lousy.
way this is written up, an award will be based on the evaluation and ranking of the technical proposals only, with the award going to the top-ranked responsible and responsive consultant. The town of Ayer will negotiate a contract with the top-ranked consultant based on a review and justification of costs included in the consultant's proposal. Should the town and selected consultant not be able to reach an agreement, the town will then negotiate with the remaining firms in order of their ranking. All
So-
required information requested in the RFP will be utilized to evaluate each consultant. The contract will be awarded within 60 calendar days from the opening of proposals.
Okay, so let's go forward. So I agree that we can ask them for more information, but to our original point, the cat's out of the bag, the horse is out of the barn.
January 24th is when it was open.
The ring is on the table. You should put that on before you go home. So, right now, the Board of Selectmen would work with and negotiate the company that we picked. Now, since they came in at a whopping 7% of the other, I did the math, they came in at 7% of the other proposal, then I think we're getting a reasonable deal with regard to a two-proposal discussion. So I guess I'm comfortable telling these folks that we came up with this wild number, but unfortunately the only other backside of that is that then we get a letter from them that we read it wrong or did it wrong or added it wrong, or gosh, we messed this up, we meant it to be 12,400. So I'm not even sure that there's a win in that, right?
If they say we added wrong, it's like, well, if it was that difficult to add it, that's their problem.
Well, and certainly their question will probably be more focused on what kind of spreadsheet we use. But software aside, thank you. I would say that based upon the criteria, and did we run into this before where we said we wanted more information? Didn't we do this at one other time? Remember when we had the two bids way back?
There was one, I think we wound up tossing, doing anything that year anyways.
Yeah, maybe we did. I'm thinking of the, remember the young kids, right? So it felt like a bunch of young kids wrote one of those bids, right? Came in at way more money. It was like 80 grand or something, 80, 85 grand, and the other two were 60 and 40. I mean, it was, remember it was way out of whack. And we tossed that bid, and I think we did at that time say, boy, we just kind of want to call them up and ask them if they know what they were doing, right? And so this feels a lot like that. So I'll tell you what, if I thought that when I added it all up, it came to 65,000 and this one was 60,000, then maybe it would be worth pursuing, but literally $874,210. I mean, it's on an apple, but still, I mean, you have to assume it's close. So I agree with your thought process, and I have no problem if we go to them and say, this is what we came up with. What did you come up with? But at that point, I guess I'm more angry that they didn't come up with it on their own. So,
Okay,
did you have a thought about that?
that's fine.
Were you happy or disappointed that they didn't have a line item?
No, they should have had a line item.
So I agree with your thought that our next RFP will provide a sheet that they fill out. So we used to do that with Sprint, where it was a sheet and it was separate items, and then they had a labor and materials component on each one, and you had to fill out our specific sheet for the job. And that way every proposal came in exactly the same way. So, okay. I appreciate your comment. So there's a motion on the table to issue the RFP to Solitude Lake Management and forward this on to the Board of Selectmen for their action. So is there any further discussion? No. All in favor say aye. Aye. So we'll sign this right now.
And in the meantime, do you want Brian to
Do anything?
write all habitat just as an academic thing, that here's the range we got, if we do future proposals, is this what,
I guess what probably makes the most sense, the only other thing we could do is we could take the sheet that came from from Solitude and send it to them and say, we wanted to give you some feedback. Your compares.
Yeah.
Say, we wanted to give you some feedback. Well, because here's the thing. By definition, as soon as we open that, that's a public document. And say, we wanted to give you some feedback, just so you know, we used your criteria. In fact, you know what? I think I want to write it, and I'll put it together
All right.
in my best polite ease, and it will say, just to give you some feedback, we sat and were mystified by the numbers that you provided, and
Just do me a favor and make sure that that goes to Robert and Carly for the legality thing, because contract stuff.
it's a public document,
Well,
and all
now
I'm
it is,
simply
but-
saying is that we read your public document and we came up with this number. Here's what your competition came up with. Just so you know, this is our format in the future, and if you want to comment back to us, we'd be happy to see it, but this has already been issued.
The book that Carly was in to figure out how the contract process goes is like yay big, and so I'm sure there's a chapter about yay big on feedback and
I wouldn't.
the postmortem.
I would tell you that right now, it gets thrown away.
The issue I'd be sensitive to, if I may interject, is you really want to open up the door for contesting the fact that you don't know how to add spreadsheets. There's nothing for that, but that's, if I were
Brian.
a proponent, and
That's for you.
that's where you come in with the opportunity for the second bite of the apple. If that were being, if I'm assuming your assumptions were lame. I can reframe your assumptions and say, well, I'm really competitive with it.
I guess maybe it is just unfortunate to just say you didn't give us a line item. We added it up based upon the criteria of the RFP. We then added it up based upon criteria we thought you meant, and you still aren't competitive. I hope things are well. And enjoy your spring.
So maybe Chuck's right that instead of opening up that can of worms, we just, next year when we do an RFP,
We provide the proposal
we
sheet.
provide the proposal. And if they really wanted to find feedback, all I have to do is look at our minutes.
Or
Since
watch
it's public
TV.
record. Yeah, so,
I've heard people love our show.
yeah, so you could just.
It's my favorite when people tell me that at the grocery. We love your show. It's like, it's a public meeting. Love that one.
But we're funny sometimes.
Or Brian, I forwarded that spreadsheet to your email.
Ovaltine.
Cheers. Thank you.
Arnett. Nobody snorts on public TV like you do.
Oh, that Ovaltine, that's killing me.
So in terms of money available, we got, George looked it up, we got 54,000 for, in the fall, at fall town meeting.
Oh,
Not a problem.
we had more before.
We still have 15,000
Right.
in CPC funds specifically for Flanagan Park. And I know Lisa would love it if we
Spend
axed
that.
that.
If we made that go away?
Made that go away.
Well, that's the reason to
So-
leave that. So let's look for
Yeah.
other monies.
Yes, that is the reason.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that story
So-
after.
so
Still
we-
mad about it.
We've got money.
Okay,
We can cover it.
okay.
So.
So first off, thank you all very much for your participation and for following along with us. And that was great. Well,
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. So we were having that discussion the other day in the office, and somebody said, "Oh, well, you just brush through those and just move the dates." And I'm like, "Absolutely not. If you pick it up and touch it, you figure it out all the way to the end, and then you put it back down." And we picked it up, figured it out all the way to the end, and put it back down. There's no question in my mind. We did our job. That's the number. It's
their job.
$874 freaking $1,000 based on the numbers in our RFP. How they didn't sit down and figure it out first is kind of astounding. Oh, and I don't believe that's actually correct, because one of the items that's written on there is it said does not include mobilization and labor. And the numbers above said mobilization. Why else would you include what the cost of the fella is? And
It was written. I think it was written either to intentionally confuse or from a very, very specific sensibility regarding math.
Well,
it just, it's so broad.
well, I think it comes from a very inexperienced member of
Yeah.
the team, or maybe the team is.
I think it's pretty new out there.
inexperienced.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 16 minutes, and I think we can go through. So, donation of the Slarsky property behind the fire station.
Yep.
So is it really behind the fire station or beside it?
George can summarize.
Yeah.
No, I mean, is it it's not that parking area, it's the wetland.
Right.
Okay.
Lisa Gabri was in before the meeting,
Oh,
and she said she'd really like us to take it because it's,
Got one for Bonnie, because you
She-
guys got the rundown.
she wants it to go away.
yeah.
So
And
it's
there's only a couple.
it's 3.5 acres. Okay, so it says total due now, total unpaid. Oh, so am I supposed to add those two together?
You need my laptop?
If it gets windy in here, I will certainly take it back to hold these things down. That's very kind. Does Apple have a spreadsheet?
Yeah, they do. I don't like it. So
Oh.
I just, this is a, your issue was that you didn't have a 3-button mouse kind of thing. The
Yeah.
spreadsheet is an open source version of Excel, so your issue was,
It was the mouse, but it's also the typical functions, the sum and etc. They don't work properly. So it was
yeah.
Really?
I just installed it.
Yeah. Another freeware that's really nice is actually the Open Office suite. It's
If you haven't tried that one, that's another freeware.
Yeah, this is Libra, which is a spin-off of the same one.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's a word. Libre is word in Latin.
They have, Libra is a suite of.
I see.
Thanks for letting us sit in on your meeting.
Thanks for enjoying it with us.
Thanks for coming 2 in a row.
Have a lovely evening.
We gotta see you on the 23rd. You gotta go for that.
We'll be back.
You want to see me on the 23rd for
Yeah.
another?
Yeah, I mean, 2 out of 3. You're working on your hat trick here.
Do that as your Valentine's. So I'm a little unclear on what she's got written on here. So she says total due now is $34.30 and total unpaid is $26.44. So I just want to make sure I understand what she means. If I add these up, it says that they were paid through 2011.
I think what you're seeing is that the unpaid is, X, and then the unpaid plus accumulated interest and fees and bother
Is due
adds to a
now.
higher number.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3. According to this, if you take the tax that's been owed from 2012 to 2017, it's the 3430.13 number. But then underneath it, she writes unpaid is $2,600.
Well, because see, in the way that it's written, it goes, if you go across for, what is that, 2012, unpaid balance is $639, and then due now is $1,008.
Oh, so she added the fees. So the total unpaid is $26.44.24, and then the interest and fees that have been added on brings it to $34.30.
And so the $397 is $563, the $377 is $542, and then you get down. Yeah.
So first off, that's a terrible way to write stuff up. However, because what does unpaid now matter if you've assessed fees to it? Right? $639 is now $1,008. Just what it is. Okay, so what she's saying is, would we like 3.5 acres of unusable land for $3,400 and for $3,430.13?
Is that 3.9
No.
or 3.5?
What she's saying is that this is the amount of money that Steve owes on taxes,
Right?
right? And so he's not going to pay.
No, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. So in other words, he's going to forfeit this piece of property for the taxes that are owed of $34.30.13?
No, he's not going to forfeit it. He's going to gift it.
He's gifting us.
Okay.
This
He's
parcel.
gifting us his parcel, at which point the taxes are sort of forgiven, they go away, and that this weight comes off of the town's to-do list.
I see.
Because to actually go through the bother...
Oh, yeah, no.
Right.
We've been through this before.
Right, exactly. Well,
and we really wanted that to happen in a couple places,
Yeah.
but I get it.
Right?
Okay.
And so the simplest way to get everybody happy and to keep things clear, clean, and lovely is for us to just say thank you.
We'd love to have it.
We would
We'd
love
love
to have that.
Okay. Am I correct in assuming, so does this go behind the white apartments that you stayed in?
You know where the beaver deceiver went in recently?
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
way over here.
That pond.
It might, but I never, you couldn't really, there was big railroad
Give your little map.
No.
embankment into the back part of the
bring
house.
it
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Couldn't
yeah,
get
yeah.
through there. So.
No, but I didn't know, was there anything behind the white? So it's basically, if I was standing, what's that, Parthenon
Right,
Pizza?
Yeah.
right,
So if I was standing with Parthenon behind me,
right. And
Okay.
that right of way.
and there's there's that path
Right.
that goes across.
Yep.
And then on this side I have the I have the railroad.
Yep.
And then on the other side of the white apartments, and then the
Basically,
railroad.
from the right of way
Yep.
to the looker's right,
Yep.
that water body,
Okay.
that meadow, that
And that's-
3.5 acres.
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
That space.
Yeah.
Really, that's 3.5 acres.
Well, the lines are funny where they're drawn.
Yeah, there must be.
Do we have a good map of it?
No, I didn't bring one. We have a lovely map upstairs in the Robin's blue,
Yeah.
Robin's egg blue.
Yeah, no. I just this specific property outline. So, I don't see a problem. Do you have an opinion, Jess?
Seems fine to me.
I'd like to walk it.
Yeah.
Swim it or walk it?
Swim it?
There's no walking it.
There's no
Well, you can walk it now. Oh, actually,
Snowshoe it?
Yeah.
it was like 15 last night, and the temperature was dropping today. But then it's supposed to rain tomorrow. I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of. We're going to have some really marginal ice conditions. I don't know if you could walk it. I'm not even joking. Because We walked Long Pond 2 years in a row when it froze up. It was fantastic.
And last year and this year you can't.
Yeah.
But that right away, whose is that?
Towns.
So we can just walk up there and look over.
We can, although I don't know how bad it is.
I mean, how urgent is this?
Actually, a little bit. So Steve is planning on leaving town, moving out of town. In the next, maybe even before a town meeting. And so, once he's gone, this is just going to be a wait.
Okay.
And it will be an unresolved kind of thing. We'll have to take it. It'll cost money. This is kind of like the sooner I can get these wheels turning, the better it'll be in the end.
Can you see a reason to not take it?
I don't see any use in us having it. I mean, if the only benefit is it's flood storage around the fire station, so let the DPW have it.
Well, there's actually good reason actually to take it, because with that right-of-way, we'd own the right-of-way and the underlying land. We own the downstream parcel, the town does as well. DPW is on the other end, and we're actually talking, myself and Alan, about trying to figure out how to put in a hiking trail loop going over that right-of-way behind DPW, and then coming back in on the next right-of-way downstream, and creating a little downtown half-mile walking trail that people could have as a nice lunch break thing.
So the only complication is the end of that berm where it comes across, because I think that ends. What was that nice lady's name? Mrs. Van Egan?
Van Vaten or something.
Van Vaten.
Right.
When I was at her house that day in the pouring rain, checking out where she was saying the beaver dam was causing her all the trouble. So first off, it was all thorns. So it would be a project.
It's an Eagle Scout, definitely.
But it was also, I was walking through her neighbor's yard to get to that spot. So, although, to be fair, she said it was her neighbor's yard, and you know how a lot of times lines are fungible, like the truth. So
Yeah, that one.
The big one,
Yeah. It's not zooming. Yeah, here we go.
sizable,
That larger square.
right there.
okay.
So
You're gonna have
sort
to run
of
over there and
directly
point.
below the two in 2A.
No, you're literally gonna have to run over there and point.
That larger
You
piece.
see which one?
Yeah,
The big one?
this one.
Yeah.
And then that funny shaped longer one directly downstream is town owned, and that's one of these pieces I'm trying to figure out if it actually belongs to. It was given to the selectmen.
Which one's town owned?
That one. See that long narrow one that's
Yeah,
just
in
on the
back,
south side?
In the back.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about back.
You see all the little lots in the front?
Well, yeah, true,
Yeah,
true,
the
yeah.
back, yeah.
So that
Those
was-
little lots are along East Main.
Yeah.
Right.
Or West
Main.
West
right, and that land was given to the selectmen for no apparent reason.
Actually, hold on, stop. That can't be sense. That can't make sense. So those little tiny lots, that's too close. It's not there.
No?
So this red line is 2A, right?
Yeah.
I can't tell. I don't know if this. That's why that's there. That's that dirt path. It's this tiny little rectangle on this side, because that would be the dirt path that goes through. Because you have wetland, the dirt path, a lot more wetland, and then the houses. There's an extended period along the high side of the road
Oh, yeah.
between the dirt path and the first house.
Yeah.
Take a peek at it. Promise you.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
mean,
that is wetland.
I bet you anything. See how that road goes all the way through and then comes up and connects? When you go down Mrs. Van Vaten's road, it comes down there and kind of ends like it would have gone across. And then that road that it's on comes in here and goes back to, in back here where the DPW is.
while that might make more sense visually, yeah, no. Like the ownership going through it, you click on Steve Sarsky's name, and that's the parcel that lights up.
The big parcel.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with the logic, just that it's not correct.
Well, I'll put it this way. I don't think there's enough space
Look it up,
between
look
the
it up.
two, but here's what matters.
The
So-
moral of the story.
So, as we run out of night. So, the two pieces that are important are George's concern about walking it. Would walking it change your opinion, do you think?
Well, just like Takashi had said at the previous meeting, if it has value as recreational land, then it's worth getting, but if not, maybe not. And if there are other lots back there that we don't own, what's the point of us owning one little piece of it?
So why don't we do this? And also, because Takashi did have a different opinion at the last meeting when we talked about it, can we please come in with the maps for next time? Or at least have them loaded up so we can put them on the screen?
Well,
so
that
we
is
can
the
take
map.
a look? Yeah, but I want to see it on the big screen so we can all have a peek at it.
I don't know if I can do that.
Which part?
Getting the live map that you want, because you want me to hook into the Z. Well, actually, if I do, I could work around that.
Even a little printout, enlarged printout, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have
Just
those.
something.
I mean, let's put it this way. We can resolve that upstairs if you want me to just do that. But the issue at hand actually is Steve will walk away from this.
I don't think anybody's questioning that, but the commission is saying that we're not comfortable because we don't have a good enough understanding of it. And so we're talking about, just like we said, 9 days from now. So
Yeah. No, I mean, I get all that. I suppose, the questions can all be answered. Like the questions you have, I can answer them.
after or now?
No, right now.
Okay.
Like it has recreational value. If Steve walks away from it, it becomes a burden to the town and becomes a higher cost issue to the town to resolve
You're
it.
gonna walk away from it before next Thursday?
See, this is the part where I don't know because, like, if we wait till next Thursday, right, and then this has to go through Robert and the selectmen, say, and they want to do, and it just sort of cascades time wise, and he is planning on moving out of town. I don't know how truthful this is because he could just have plans and maybe they work out, maybe they don't. But he's planning on moving in like the late March, early April space. And with the way things take time that you don't expect, that's all. And we know it's wetland. We know that there's potential for recreational space, and we know that the inability, it's too small a fish to resolve for the town, and it's going to be a cost issue to the town to resolve it in a proper manner should it not be accepted as a gift.
All right, let's go back one more step. Is there a reason to not accept it?
No, just right now, I guess my last bit of discomfort is us taking one little piece of that area, not having all of it.
Well, and it is in between DPW land and land owned by the selectmen.
Right, so
And-
why don't you give this piece to the selectmen, or the DPW?
Oh, I see where you're going with that.
Let's just stay on the whole thing.
I see where you're going with that.
Right. Why break it up into 3 parcels that...
I mean, that's easy enough to take up with Robert if we want to say gift it to DPW or, take the selectmen's portion or like make a manageable space out of what's down there.
Well, I tell you
Or
what.
they can give us all the rest of it.
Yeah,
Well,
or
I was
that.
just going to say, so why don't we do this? So maybe the right thing to do is to say, so this reminds me in a small way of the parcel up on the top of the hill, right, which just wasn't big enough to do anything with. And it was going to make for a very, very small trail, and it was completely landlocked, and so it wasn't very viable. And we were going to spend a lot of time and money to get to the point of buying it. So this is free, but it falls under that same criteria, right? So I guess the other way to look at this is to say that we would be willing to accept this with the idea that the town is going to give us the surrounding parcels to work with so that we can make this into something usable. Otherwise, we don't have any use for it.
Cool.
So
I mean, I want to do that anyway, so it's an easy enough thing to pitch and easy enough thing to justify, and like I don't see that creating any hurdles that can't be handled.
So, if I can sum it up for you, then I would entertain a motion that the Conservation Commission is willing to entertain taking over,
Well, it'd be accepting as a gift,
accepting as a gift.
and this is important
Parcel
because Conservation Commissions
0,
Zero,
may
zero,
accept gifts
right.
without going through town meeting.
0026000030. So the Conservation Commission would be willing to accept as a gift this parcel, with consideration to the fact that the contiguous town parcels would be provided to the Conservation Commission so that the space could be developed for recreation.
So moved.
Does that make sense?
second.
I'm down.
Did you get it all?
Would be, okay, with.
Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to get Dragon.
For dictation?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely.
No, because then you have to listen to it all over again.
No, you don't. It just types it out.
George, you'll actually be happy to know I've already had that chat with Mark Wetzel, and the idea appeals to him. And Alan and I are going to try to go
The
for a walk at some
Conservation
point to
Commission
see how to
accepts
build
this parcel
that idea.
as a
So-
gift, so long as contiguous parcels may be
Runs through there.
Yeah. line.
provided to the Conservation Commission for
Pools, a trail.
recreation.
Got it.
All typed it out.
Okay. Email it to me.
I can't. That was a text.
Yeah, I'm just wondering,
Either way.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this might be a,
the
a
land
thought
ownership
process
and
for
right of
future.
ways, and they still belong to the railroad, and
I know,
they're
but
not
this
generous
might
for
make
that
your
kind of
life
thing.
better.
Does it not
But
have
there is
spell Old?
already there's already that easement.
With an eye.
This is the land we own, this land we own, and then the other easement.
Okay, so did we
Is
make
like
the motion?
over
I've made the motion and
So
it's
we
been
can do
seconded.
This,
That'd be cool.
So
right?
I think we're all on the same page. I think so. What George is speaking to, if I may put words in his mouth, is that isn't it a surprise that all of a sudden it's a gift that we'd like to accept, and then all of a sudden there's 3 different pieces owned by 3 different parts of the town. Doesn't make any sense, and 3 different separate pieces does no one any good.
Yeah.
So there's a motion. It's been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So we have motion. We have
Yeah, get
passed a
on
motion
that.
to accept it as a gift. Okay. We have run out of night, but I think we have just a few minutes for a couple things. Discovery of the small dam. Were you able to talk to Ms. Schmitz?
Yeah, the guidance on that is basically to craft an enforcement order to take it down. And the enforcement order would utilize standards and protocols so that it's like, don't just go down and take a dam. It's like, this dam shall be taken down according to protocol XYZ, and like the mass restoration programs, dam protocol of like, an inch a day is how much the water shall come down until it
Sure,
comes out.
sure. So did she have some way to help us to find all that information out?
Oh yeah, I can find all that. I can get in touch with some folks.
So this would be an EO to Brent Ruthier?
Yeah, to the landowner.
Okay.
Do we have that right?
How do you mean?
To tell him to take out a dam? Maybe he wants to use it, maybe he wants to put in a hydropower station.
Well, then he should go through the normal permitting procedures.
Okay. I think I guess if we hadn't talked about it with him out in the field, I wouldn't feel nearly as comfortable, but I'm still not totally comfortable with this. It almost feels like we're punishing him for letting us know something.
Well,
I'm pretty positive he didn't build that dam.
right, like he could come to us with a proposal and we could entertain that, sure. But, for the commission to force anything.
Well, and so
Right.
maybe the way to do this is to say that we've discovered what the standards and protocols are for this, and we'd like to work with you to go ahead. The state, has given us a couple of avenues, and one would be for you to bring it to us at no cost to yourself. to move forward.
Right.
And the other would be for us to send you an enforcement order to force you to do it.
Right.
And, quite frankly, we are not totally comfortable with that. So is this something you would take on? Because when we were there, he said yes, he would be
Right.
happy to
And
take
so,
the dam down.
The standards I would use, basically the manner in which the dam would be taken down would be the same. It's like an inch an hour or an inch a day.
Well,
right?
there's
won't
no
change.
question.
So
right?
whether or not it's through an RDA, restoration NOI, and EO, it's sort of moot.
Okay,
It's
well
just-
then,
yeah.
so let's do this. So can you please pull together the standards and the protocols so we can talk about them next week
All right.
on Thursday? And then what we'll do is we will go to Deshang and Brent and to ask them to either come in or we can send that information to them and say, here's our advice from the state, and we'd really like to work with you to take down the dam that we talked
How
about.
about I bring those on the 9th?
Okay, is the 23rd full?
Yes.
Oh, because we have the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, that's perfect. And I think we can all agree the dam's not going to come down in the spring anyway. It'll come down in the dead of summer.
And while I'm getting the protocols from the 9th, I'll reach out to Deshang and
Brent.
Ruthier and
Well, I'd almost kind of want to.
just give them a heads up on I
I kind of want to go through them ourselves first,
okay.
if that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, just 'cause
No rush.
Never taken a dam down, and they're not going to be able to do it for 4 to 6 months.
All right. No
Right.
rush.
And I wouldn't mention any option of an enforcement order.
That's the other thing. I'm wildly uncomfortable with that because that just feels like, hey, thanks for showing us stuff. Here's a bill.
No.
That just feels really crappy.
Okay.
But I'm glad she brought it up. That right, if we needed to force them to, that's fine.
Yeah,
But
it's
I don't think
it's
that's where we
within the
are.
rights and powers of the commission to make it happen.
But you just don't want to.
Yeah, that doesn't even feel right either, by the way. It really doesn't, because if that was within our rights, then we'd go after the one at Plowshop Pond,
Yeah, I mean,
Calvin Moore.
which
Well-
is defunct.
dams aren't illegal.
Well, no, but unpermitted dams would be illegal.
But if grandfathered in before there was permitting.
Yeah, I guarantee that dam was in there before there were any dam permits.
Well, okay, so then you've got to get into that.
Oh no,
ball of
there's
wax.
no
Yeah.
win in this.
Yeah.
To George's point, the fact that there was a dam on his property doesn't mean he did anything wrong.
Right.
And so it doesn't make sense to come after him for a dam
Oh, no.
that he didn't do anything about.
Yeah.
But that's what an EO is. An
Right.
EO is coming after him.
Yeah.
Okay. Outbuildings on conservation land. I think I read that.
That's the email with the blue bit drawn on it.
I think I read that, didn't I? Wasn't that? Didn't that?
You probably read it.
Yes, because this is from. This
Actually,
is
hold
from
on
Mark.
a second. Do me a favor and just put your signatories on the land thing.
Oh,
Just so
absolutely.
that, there's something to pass around other than, look up the video and I promise that they said so.
We accept this gift of property. Sorry, I signed a lot. All right. To Robert. Thank you for sending this email. In my opinion, the acquisition of property for open space purposes likely triggers the protection of Article 97, which, as you know, prevents use of that property for purposes other than open space and related preservation. Thus, in my opinion, the acquisition of the former Tooker property by the town for open space purposes may have resulted in that protection for the property. Thus, leasing of that property for a private purpose would not be consistent with the protections afforded under Article 97, in my opinion. So we cannot lease those buildings. Do you know the buildings we're talking of? Do you know?
Oak Ridge Road, right?
Yep. If you went up Oak Ridge Road from Groton Harvard,
Yeah.
as you come around the corner, you go past the dam for Pine Meadow. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And then you keep going down, you dip down in, and Flanagan's Pond comes right up to the road on the right, and there's a sewer pumping station on the
I know
left.
that. Little parking lot's just beyond that.
That's right. That little space right there, just above that, is the Tooker property, which we purchased back in 2009. It was a couple of acres, and we added it onto the end of our Pine Meadow Pond property. Well, Mr. Tooker, who's since passed away, lived in the house down the bottom, and he had 2 sheds that were up on our property. And the first thing that happened was the not very nice man who bought the house where Mr. Tooker used to be started putting his stuff in those sheds and pretty much told us to piss off when we told him to move his stuff. And he was kind of a yucky person. So, we said, what can we do with those sheds? And there were a couple of different options, including I think we even offered the fire department to burn them down as practice, which they said was harder than it seemed to get permits to do that. So then we talked about leasing them. Here he says that it doesn't appear that they can be leased because of the Article 97 protections.
Read on.
Yep.
This is the land that I'm talking about.
It appears clear, however, that the sheds on the former Tooker property are owned by the town, therefore subject to use at the town's sole discretion. The use of those sheds by owners of the abutting 102 Oak Ridge Drive property without town permission is inappropriate, may constitute trespass. There may also be liability concerns with respect to the use or misuse of those sheds. Recommend the town take steps to address the security of those and develop a policy. The sheds themselves are not real estate of the town, and so may be removed without concern for respect to Article 97, as they are not a feature of open space. I'm not aware of any provision in the acquisition process that provided special protection for the sheds unless they constitute a historic feature of the property. They don't. The Board of Selectmen may approve their disposition if they are capable of being removed from the property. The sheds may also be demolished, but the town would incur the cost of such an action. The Board of Selectmen may consider licensing the use of the sheds. A license is a vehicle to allow temporary use of the premises without transferring a legally enforceable interest, as would occur through leasing. Thus, the town may grant a license for a specified permitted use for a period of time with the license subject to revocation by the town. The licensee would be responsible for paying an appropriate license fee and would also be subject to the terms of the license, including any requirements for maintenance and insurance. This mechanism could address seasonal uses such as storage of firewood and would allow for some oversight over the use of the sheds. They would be overnight use. You don't have to take the wood out at night and put it back. Happy to discuss these with you further. So that's right. I did read this on my own, and I did see the licensing. I think the only thing that tripped me in here was the insurance issue, because so whenever we work with a company, they have to show us their certificate of insurance, and it lists out what their insurance is for, general liability, etc. That isn't how it works with your homeowners. So if you own a house and then somebody says, well, you could license our sheds, but you have to have proof of insurance, which is what this is saying. Licensee would pay an appropriate license fee and would be subject to the terms of the license, including any requirements for maintenance or insurance. Now all of a sudden it's a company, right? Your average person doesn't have a COI,
Yeah.
right? It would be a company would have to do this. So
But why would a company have to do that?
because typically, so I'm not even sure as a entity, as a personal entity, that you can go and buy insurance to protect you for that shed.
Mm.
So I don't know how you do. I don't know how you'd even do it. But a company, which typically has insurance for their own purposes, would be able to extend their insurance coverage to these sheds. Down in the bottom of a certificate of insurance, there's a little spot for additional insured, and so the town would be listed as an additional insured for the use of these sheds under the insurance policy of that person. You know, I thought all this useless knowledge was going to go to waste. So, and so I do remember reading this, and I remember seeing the insurance part and saying that's probably the only thing that could be a bugaboo, because your average person, they don't have a way to extend their insurance to it from their homeowners.
But could we also, question then, could we also have a waiver of liability?
Well, that's where it gets exciting.
Yeah.
So that would probably require another email back to Mark at Copeland and Page. So, so one option would be to go, I guess there's a new family lives there.
Yeah.
So one option might be to send them a letter and tell them that, the town is considering licensing those sheds. Actually, maybe the right thing to do is to actually go back to Robert and say, do you have an idea what your license fee would be before we ask the homeowner if they're interested? I don't even know if the homeowners are using them now.
Yeah.
So
No, they are using them for firewood.
There's so plan A is figure out how to make licensing work.
Well, figure out, so in this particular case, what would the town want to charge for licensing? That would be the first part, because then at least we'd be able to go to the homeowners and say, the town would like to, first off, I see you have a bunch of stuff in our sheds. The town would like to license those sheds to you for this amount of money. By the way, you have to have proof of insurance. If you're not interested, you have until next Sunday to get all your stuff out. So kind of that.
Well, proof of insurance, or, there's a different question for town council then would be, would a waiver of liability to the town?
Would they accept a waiver of liability?
Yeah, the town accept that, so.
I guess one of the conditions to that would be right? If you walk on the town property up there, you can't sue the town if you trip and hurt yourself.
Right.
So why
That would-
why don't the sheds count the same way?
That sounds like it counts the same way.
It does, but at the same time, I can also imagine that somewhere Mark Reich just threw open his mouth a little bit when I said that, so just guessing. So, because he would probably say, that, well, but they're clearly separate structures, which he identifies in the first paragraph.
Yeah.
You know, what if he has more than just firewood up there and,
Right.
you know, there's
Well, we did have some,
paint or
Old stuff.
something that,
Yeah, catches on fire,
Yeah.
someone gets hurt.
yeah.
You can see. Unfortunately, we always end up in the worst case scenarios in these things, and it's the reason why attorneys are involved in any kind of operation like this.
Hey, you know, worst case scenario is they burn it down.
Worst case scenarios, they're in it.
worst case scenario is they burn it down along with a good part of Pine Meadow Conservation Land. But it seems to me,
Then we've got a fire restoration
Right.
exhibit, and we can
Right.
put signs up and a trail. And
yeah. But it appears to me Mark says, recommends the town take steps to address the security of these sheds one way or another. You know, so if we leave them there and tell people they're right up against your property, they're nice and inviting, but you can't touch it, they're just gonna sit here useless.
No, there's no great answer
There's
to
no
any of
great-
this. There's no great answer to that. The actual great answer would have been if that duty head who bought the property from Mr. Tooker in the first place had
Yeah.
bought that piece where the sheds were,
Right.
which he told us were not offered to him, and Mr. Tooker said, no, I offered it to him, he didn't accept it. Remember?
Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We all have the email. I'm just going to shoot it back to Robert and just ask him if the town has any thought on a licensing fee before we entertain any discussion with the neighbor, the person who lives below, and then also say we have some concerns about the insurance and how that might work. Okay. Did you have anything hugely pressing to explain in the next 5 minutes or so?
Beaver Solutions, annual maintenance contract.
Ooh. So,
I would say.
That's how much money is left in the Beaver Fund.
have a good night, sir. That's the sticker?
Yeah.
Well, that's good, because I was just about to say,
I have to say, the water is running narrowly through the dam at Long Pond.
damn. Brian, as per our agreement, Beaver Solutions, it always cracks me up how these are printed out by him and then he handwrites in people's names. He's been doing that the whole time, We completed the 2016 routine maintenance, first well known, inspected for corrosion, winter ice, other damage, monitored, adjusted, repaired. Effective in 2016 with routine maintenance. Can I get a key for the lock at Long Pond for easier access? Okay.
I don't know, I've never actually been to Long Pond.
Really?
Yeah, it's on the to-do list for this spring.
Wow.
Well, what we should do is we'll take the hike into the dam in the spring. We'll go on a Saturday.
Well, because in my head, what this is a tour after, it goes along with what you were talking about with the land, is sort of trying to figure out what land is ours, what land could or should be ours, and then what to do with it. And so going out and surveying these properties, come springtime, grand
Well-
tour.
Probably the best thing to do is to start with what we absolutely know and at least get you out there so you can see it. There's a pathway that starts at the bottom of off Wright Road. What the heck was the project? Stratton Hill.
Yeah.
So you can park down at the bottom of Stratton Hill and we can walk right in. And then probably the key he's talking about is that pathway that comes up that O'Donnell takes. Isn't it O'Donnell?
Denell's.
Denell's.
Yeah.
The Denell's are off to the right, and there's a chain. It must be a chain with a lock on it. There it goes to the left. And then that goes around behind the Denell's property. Sure it's not O'Donnell?
Yeah, I'm sure it's Denell.
I'm sure.
Conrad
So-
Denell.
See, lives over there.
Just Guy Denell.
And his brother.
Nice guy.
And his brother O'Donnell. Okay. So according to this, so there's two pieces, and I think this is why we entered into this maintenance agreement. The maintenance agreement was $280 per each one, less a 10% multi-site maintenance discount, comes to $756. This was the reason if a culvert or a flexible pond leveler pipe we maintain is blocked by beavers, we will either fix the problem at no charge or refund double your maintenance fee.
So we
So,
wanna
quite
make
frankly,
money.
based on our beavers, I saw this as a way to make money.
Yeah, I think, we should jam it in a way that can't be fixed. And then-
There's just no end to those damn jokes. Just no end. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to pay Beaver Solutions for their optional maintenance agreement and guarantee in 2017 they will inspect and perform routine maintenance on all flow devices at least twice annually and needed to ensure effectiveness.
So moved.
Question,
Certainly.
how many?
3.
Is it 3 now?
Can you,
Yeah, we have the one behind the fire station.
Mhm.
Actually, so
where are they again?
we have Long Pond Dam.
Pond, yep.
We have the
Rock
one
Meadow.
at Rock Meadow Pond.
That's
The
by Autumn Ridge.
past the power lines.
Oh,
Past the power lines.
yes, okay, yes.
And so
And
wait a
then one-
minute. And then 3 is the one over here by Slarsky's.
Which would be.
We keep
ours.
saying fire station. It's like half a mile down the street.
That is the beaver deceiver on the Slarsky property?
Yeah.
So that would be ours.
Well, yeah, ostensibly.
Yeah.
That's 3. So interestingly, so they did the one at Pine Meadow at Pondview for Pondview.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
Back a couple years. And isn't there a 4th?
Not that we've done.
The rosewood is a cage.
Rosewood, yeah.
And we haven't done.
Yeah, no.
We'll get there. We'll get one eventually.
I was just thinking of that walk we did that Saturday.
And DPW pays him for their own business.
Yeah.
And so if DPW has a pond leveler somewhere, they're paying for that separately.
Right. No, for some reason I thought there was a 4th. So that's the 3.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you.
Would you like to second the
I will
motion?
second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sir? Okay. Any other big hitters?
No, that's all the big stuff. Now it's on to small fry.
How small fry? Because it's 10:25.
Yeah.
Fairly small fry. There's a group registration for the MACC conference,
Okay.
and if you guys are interested, it's just a reminder, do that. I got this in the mail with no return address. It is a page ripped out of the Christian Science Monitor Weekly
Oh, I get that.
on how cities enlist nature to tame flood risk, and it's somebody just ripped out and sent
So
out
that-
like
With no return address, no anything?
and it's basically bioswales.
Well, that's cool. Well, I mean, that's
Creepy.
nice. No,
Cool,
no.
still
Somebody
creepy.
pulled something out for you. That's kind of nice.
If anybody's interested,
The spring plant sale in
Yeah.
Westford.
Anybody want this? Yeah.
I've never been. Maybe we should make a trip.
Well, this actually raises something that if you guys want to be traditionalists, the Conservation Commission for 15 years gave away trees on Earth Day.
Well,
We're not-
and that's
Hmm.
thank you.
Is anyone signed up?
I will-
Yeah, but I didn't do it that
Can we
way.
do it this way?
You can do it online.
can,
You
you
can do
do it
that.
online.
You can
It's
keep that
easier
if you
online.
want it. Need the reminder.
I'll
And
do
you
it
want
If you do it online, it's just easier because then you get your e-ticket
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
But if you want to just see what's on here and you want to read the,
Oh, I can find it
I don't need
online.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll find it online.
Also, in the conference realm, I'm not going to be able to go to MACC, but I'm definitely interested in going to the Massachusetts Land Conservation Conference. The list of things is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
They have meeting new challenges, land management and stewardship, land protection tools and techniques, legal tax and compliance, organizational management and fundraising, then urban and community conservation with great titles. Here we go. Troubleshooting land negotiations, hot topics in conservation, chuckers and keepers and chuckers, keys to good record management. It's early detection and rapid response to invasive terrestrial plants. A little more wide-ranging, as opposed to the MACC thing, which is very Concom oriented. This is a bit of a broader brush. So this is something to
When is
have a
this?
look at. Late March, 25th.
All right, I'm putting this in here, the spring plant sale. Do you know where this is? 319 Littleton Road, Westford?
Would you like to keep the flyer?
No, as soon as I put it in my phone, then you can tack it up upstairs in case someone else is interested.
It must be 110.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is it's one of those buildings over there. Okay, I'm putting this in here, and then I'm going to plan to be there.
What's the date again?
Gosh darn it. 4/21 from 3 to 6 p.m. That's a Friday, and Saturday 4/22 from 8 to noon. And actually, I'm reading it wrong because this would have put me in the entirely wrong place. These nice folks are located, the Middlesex Conservation District is located at 319 Littleton Road. However, the plant sale is at the 4-H Fairgrounds, 51 South Chelmsford Road, Westford. That's got to be 27.
50, what's the address?
51 South Chelmsford Road,
And that's in Weston,
Westford.
Westford.
Westford. Okay.
4-H.
4-H, the 4-H Fairgrounds. Okay. Brian, do we have anything else that absolutely has to be done tonight?
Unless you guys want to ask questions about how the permit tracking and cleaning and continuation is going.
I do on the 23rd.
I bet we're.
Last night was long. Tonight's long.
This is important. The wordsmithing from last night. Do you guys want me to take the edit that we did about
I'd like
trespass and all that?
I'd like to look at that more.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we put that up on the screen tomorrow night? Because I think we're
23rd.
23rd. I think we're on the right path. I mean, by moving it over so that the part of the what you had was perfect. There were two pieces. The first part is that if we show up, we'll make all reasonable chance to get onto your property. However, in the event of emergency, that doesn't apply.
We have to make it really clear it's a real emergency.
Well, and that's where the next question is going to be. So, what constitutes an emergency?
Public safety, because there have been court cases in Massachusetts even that have been where somebody's gone onto property, conservation included, without permission, and it's been contested, and then any violation, the
Doesn't count.
punishment, the evidence has been thrown out.
I will put it to you this way, one of the things that we've talked about in the past, and one of the things that I've talked about in front of conservation commissions when we were doing work on property was, look, at the end of the day, we're going to do everything we can to protect it, and if something goes wrong, we're on the hook to clean it up. And so there's very little that, even some of the messes that we had up at Pingree Hill in the beginning, remember all that sand in the
Right.
back?
Yeah.
He ran in with a hand shovel, cleaned it all up. He came in there later and found out that it was cleaned up. So, as messy as it can get, there's very few things that are so incredibly detrimental.
Right. On the website, the bylaw that's on the website still says 125-foot buffer zone.
Can we
When
change
did you
that
look?
tomorrow?
5 o'clock today?
It might have been changed. I sent that to Cindy at like 4:30
Okay.
because I looked at the file that I thought that I sent her and it said 100 instead of 125 feet. So I still don't know how that did that, but I theoretically resolved it already.
Okay.
So there were two pieces. There was that, and then the second piece was anything that's different between the state's bylaw and our
Do you
bylaw.
want me to put together one of those and we can dry run it on the 23rd and see?
That'd be great.
Because Jess was in today to fix the timesheet, and I was saying that if I put that together and we test drive it, see what is wrong, fix it, try it again in March, dry run it, fix it, it'll be pretty dialed by the time town meeting rolls around, when I expect you'll do a presentation of some sort, and that'll be sort of, shaken out, and that'll be nice.
Can I plant one seed? One of the things I think we all should think about is and we were all thinking it yesterday, but didn't want to say then, but one of the things that's different from is the ability to write regulations. And I think we need to come up with a good rationale that doesn't sound threatening.
Oh, I was just doing it with Nick.
Right.
Like, we want to front load,
Right, but we have to-
right.
Yeah, do that with.
So then I'm gonna craft this in a 3-column setup. This is what's different. This is why it's different. Like why the commission feels, and this is the impact on the process and the homeowner and the applicant, whatever, and do the bing, bing, bing.
That would be great. We
Great.
can go over that on the 23rd. Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn, I make it.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Uh,
Aye.